Right you are, Kay. Right you are. Petro on the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty nice little Tuesday.
I like it.
We don't have any sun, but
Nice. And our weird roller coaster kind of continues. At some point, it might flatten out.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We got a lot coming your way today. Frank Bull, the Godfather, is already in the building.
He is.
He will be ready to go
He got here at
his appointed hour.
6:20.
Sam McDowell will join us in the 4 o'clock hour. He has returned.
Has he?
Well, it was in doubt. He was in San Diego covering the Kansas Jayhawks, and 2+ hour wait. If you haven't flown out of San Diego recently, I don't think anything's gotten finished. They are completely overhauling the airport, and so the security is a bottleneck. It's long on a good day. They do make up for it by having like 10 gates all in about a 200 square foot waiting area where you have like 19 seats at the one restaurant. It's okay to be an airport snob now that we have a great airport here in Kansas City,
Yeah.
but it was already a rough go to get out of San Diego, and you were going to spend 20 plus minutes on a good day in the security line, 2+ hours, Sam was saying. So It was in doubt as to whether or not he would make the flight. He did make it. He got home late. I think there were delays as well and all that kind of stuff. So he will be here. But if you are traveling, I think we're doing pretty good at KCI. I think our folks, the TSA folks, who I think do a great job up at KCI, they are like subcontracted out to a private company, so it's not affecting. It's like business as usual at KCI, but check where you're going.
Yeah. There are some spots where there are some issues.
Check where you're going. The bigger the airport, the longer the delays. 4 hours? Somebody was saying it was 4 hours at, I don't know if it was Atlanta or Chicago. 4 hours to get through the security line.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. I mean, that means like, okay, we were going to fly from Atlanta
Yeah. So there's some
to KC, but
some
now
business
we're
decisions
almost
being
like,
made, yeah. Yeah. If you're Atlanta to Charlotte or
drive.
Miami, drive.
Drive, for sure, absolutely. No, I mean, throw the ticket away.
I mean, how far away would you have to be, to not drive? I mean, you're talking 4 hours to get through it.
Well, I believe
an hour and a half. You talk about probably 6 hours, at least 7 hours.
I think here locally, Oklahoma City and Minneapolis are no-brainer drives.
Yeah.
And just because of the time, because it's not wheels up to wheels down.
No.
It's door to door.
And also, an expense thing. If you drive, even if you're half an hour longer, you've got your car there.
Yeah.
You don't have to rent a car. Everything's
a car.
There's so many things to consider on that one.
30 to 60 minutes extra to be able to bring whatever you want.
Yeah.
Nice. Not have to hassle with it, and no potential delays. And you can get some, like if you're going east on 70 to St. Louis and beyond, have fun.
Yeah.
I hope you can thread a needle because you'll be asked to next to a semi during some of the construction zones.
Driving west to Denver, pretty smooth, actually.
Yeah.
There was no doubt about driving that bad boy.
Yeah, Denver gets close. I mean, there's so many flights that even if you get delayed or bumped, you can usually. Denver and Dallas are tough calls for me.
It's bad once you get in the city area, but once you're getting across Kansas, it's just a straight shot. 65, of course.
But
70.
anyway, Sam McDowell made it, so we will talk to him coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Gary Parrish in the 5 o'clock hour will be with us talking some college basketball as the NCAA tournament is off and running. We've got the phone lines open. You can grab them right now, 913-810-810. Chiefs, Sporting, Royals, K-State, KU, Missouri. Always a topic here on the program. We've got Royals baseball on Friday.
How about that?
We got Major League Baseball. Do they have like the opening game or the Reds playing tomorrow or something?
They still do that.
They did it for a little while. Then everybody starts on Thursday. The Royals and Braves get going on Friday.
For years, the Reds were the
So, again, they've screwed the Royals and stolen an off day from them in the season.
Dang it.
Everything they can to keep a man down. No, I haven't.
Trying to keep the small market teams down.
They always have someone like that ready to go because of rainouts and whatnot and the different national games and what they might switch to and so on and so forth. But
Royals are going to maybe be a Sunday night baseball draw this year.
They could be, or they could be a tremendous disappointment. I'd like to see them play one winning game at some point.
Yes.
I mean, just
for all the hubbub and the enjoyment of them dominating the WBC, then you look at the spring training. That kind of distracted people. At least it distracted me a little bit from the spring training numbers. You go, ooh.
Well, you didn't mind because you're
pitching.
like, the best players are playing in the WBC.
Yeah.
So what do I care if they're losing? This isn't the team they're going to put on the field. Well, the team they're going to put on the field is back, and they're still losing.
Yeah, and some arm issues.
Yes, it's spring
No one
training.
really, other than Chris Bubich, almost everyone is struggling.
Yeah, it's it's spring training, so I'm not going to read too much into it. But let's just have one nice. How about an 8-0? Just send us in there feeling a little bit good. I know. Anyway, we've got that going on. KUK State, Missouri here in the always a topic here in the program. You can grab a phone line right now, 913-381-810. Hit me up on the Twitter. It's at Soren Petro, Soren Petro. Should you be so inclined, won't you be my first caller?
Won't you be our caller? Our caller.
I never thought about doing it that way, but I kind of liked it. Had a little
But
bit of
I'm glad you did.
Let's talk about Bill Self. He has certainly. We discussed this yesterday. He made it clear that he's not definitely back. He's going to meet with family and discuss. Let's see how he feels. I would say this, and so we talked about that. And we talked about the game and whatnot. I would say, it's. He's got to make the right decision. I don't think there's anything more to say there. He's got to figure it out. Is he healthy enough, and does he have the desire? And do the doctors give him the clearance? And can he, live his life the way they need him to be effective? That's all for Bill Self to figure out. Him and his family. Let me ask you this though. Here's if you're Kansas. What's the timeline? Do you want the answer in? How quick does Bill Self need to give Kansas an answer? Now listen, I don't think Bill Self owes Kansas anything. He has given them 2 national championships, but I likewise don't think Kansas owes Bill Self anything. They've paid him a mountain of cash over the years. He's been well compensated. So I think this has been a great, harmonious marriage between the two sides. Maybe one time Bill Self had to go put a little scare into him with Oklahoma State to get what he thought he deserved. Or maybe it was just fortuitous and Oklahoma State reached out, what have you. But we know that was out there. But that didn't even seem contentious. They quickly gave him a new contract, and he was happy, and we haven't heard much from it. There were rumors that he would go to the NBA, but never really anything too serious. He never threw it out there. He never pulled a Dan Hurley and took 3 or 4 days to leave the university in limbo while he considered an offer from the Lakers. That drama fest that went on last year, or was it 2 years ago, with Dan Hurley. He never did that, so I think we've got amicable parties here. But listen, I don't think you want him doing what Bruce Pearl did.
Oh no!
And making a decision in September.
No.
And basically forcing the team's hand. And then what you get, because to me, and listen, I would listen to the argument that, hey, 2 national championships, what is it, 4 Final Fours?
Yes.
A boatload of Elite Eights. I don't even remember where that number is. I got that right. 4 Final Fours for Bill Self, correct?
12, 18, and 22, I think.
Are the others in addition to the?
No, that's
the Final Fours.
Yeah, the 2 championships.
How many Elite Eights?
Elite Eights, 17. I can just look it up right here.
Yeah.
I was trying to guess. I'm like, I got a list of coaches right in front of me.
I mean, I guess if you wanted to, if you were his agent, you could make the case that Bill Self has earned the right to make this decision at any time, even if it's the night of the opening game. And you just deal with it, Kansas, because he gave you so much. Okay, I'd listen to it. I don't think that's the way you want to do things. I don't. I mean, Bruce Pearl sabotaged Auburn into hiring his kid. Period. End of discussion. There was no way around what he did. The same thing went on at Wisconsin with Bo Ryan, who walked away right at the end and left guard as the only option Wisconsin had to bump up his lead assistant for 12-plus years, I think it was, and put him in that spot. I think that's unfair. Like, if you wanted to have control of it, you should have negotiated that in your contract. I just think it's slimy. And I like Bo Ryan a lot. Bruce Pearl, I'm not shocked by it. But I still don't like, and I used to talk to Bo Ryan all the time at the Final Four, And I always enjoyed the conversation, and I get why he did it. And Guard's been good, you know. He hasn't been he hasn't been as good as Bo Ryan, but he's been good. But like I don't think that's ideal, and I don't think it's what Bill Self is going to do. I think Bill Self is truly. I mean, if you want to go old school, this is a chauvinistic term to use, but he's a man's man. Bill Self answers all the questions. You could tell he was irritated by some of the questions after the game on Sunday. He answered them all and was pretty kind in doing it. You know, I think for the most part, he's always, I can't think of a time he hasn't conducted himself as a gentleman. You know, like I said, he doesn't light into reporters or anybody like that. You know, and, you know, he gets after his team in the heat of battle, in the heat of the game. But, you know, I think
he's played that role of the head coach as well as I think any coach has ever at any level.
Yeah. So I just I don't think dancing around halfway through the summer is going to be his approach. Unless Jeremy Case or Jacques Vaughn have already been told that they are the next coach. And I know generally speaking that's something that programs like to put out there, like Creighton had a coach in waiting.
Alan Huss.
Behind McDermott. And I think they do that somewhat.
That's the guy they brought back. This was a decision made a year ago. He'd been there, left, and came back a year ago just to do that. Yeah,
to get reintegrated with the program. And, you know, McDermott clearly had a time in mind that he thought he was going to step away. But, I don't think you have to name it, even if that was the reason. Now, Kansas went out of their way when Jacques Vaughn was hired to say that, well, he'd be a strong candidate for the job, but he is not being brought in as the coach in waiting. Bill Self has gone out of his way to point out that Jeremy Case is the associate head coach. And, you know, I think even so far as saying, well, he needs to be considered as well. So I think you've got two very qualified candidates in-house. But I think first and foremost, I mean, those are going to be your only choices if he's going to wait till July to make an answer or to make a decision.
Yeah.
So what is a realistic time frame for Bill Self to do right by Kansas and get them an answer, and how patient should Kansas be to do right by Bill Self for him to collect his thoughts and figure out what he wants to do? What should this timeline look like?
Is end of April? I mean, get everyone done, the season over.
No, not for me.
Sooner than that. Yeah,
I think he has to make his. I think we've already got hirings going on.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm thinking.
It depends on who you want.
I'm thinking end of the week.
Yeah. Who do you want and when is that guy available?
I mean, I'm thinking. You know, as the Sweet 16 wraps up, Kansas can literally call anybody.
Yeah.
And I think that they'd want to get to calling and interviewing whoever they want to interview. And so I think this week becomes critical if we don't hear anything. I think you would like to know by the end of this week. I think you could expect to know by the time the national championship game, the day after the national championship game. If you don't want to take away from the national championship game, okay. Then the day after, I would think Travis Goff is like, okay, here we are. This is where I'm at. I've already watched this guy, this guy, and this guy, and this guy go by. Am I hiring a coach or not? And so, you know, I think everybody heard that. And most Kansas fans I know say, well, he's got a great recruiting class. He's not going to leave. If you're Kansas and it's up and running, and you don't have the cloud of an FBI investigation hanging over your head and that, you know, trivial, you know, crap that definitely did affect them, well, then don't you expect a top recruiting class every year?
Probably should.
I mean, really, Bill Self's going to hang around because he's not, well, I got to go one more year because, you know, after that, who knows, we might be like 50th. Well, then, so this was just a lucky get?
Then you should probably go anyway.
What are we doing? Like, so in fact, Bill Self's comments of, I want to get the program back to where I think it needs to be before I step away. Well, coming off having the best player or the top recruit in the country and going into it, being up for the top recruit in the country and already having a strong recruiting class, isn't that it? or is it to guide the basketball program until they're done paying for a football stadium and maybe the purse strings become a little bit deeper? I don't know. I don't know where the spending is.
Yeah.
Right? I do think like one of the reasons why Oklahoma decided that they're going to stay with
Moser.
Porter Moser is because when you look at it, I did see the at least a knowledgeable attempt at the expenditures on rosters, and Oklahoma's down towards the bottom of the SEC. I think Oklahoma looked at it and said, well, we were in all these games against rosters that were a lot more expensive than ours. Let's put some more money, and maybe his X's and O's are what's keeping us within. We should be losing these games by 10, and instead we're nail biters because this guy can really coach, but we're not giving him what he needs. I don't know. I don't know where the finances are with Kansas. I've said it. I thought the DeBonsa situation was interesting because I heard a number of Kansas people talk about, like, well, BYU gave him ridiculous money, to which had me thinking, okay, well, so Kansas isn't going to pay top of the food chain. And when I said they're not going to pay top of the food chain, Kansas people got upset and said, we'll spend as much money as anybody. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Which is it? Maybe they did. Maybe they're like, well, we won't spend that much on one guy. We'll spread it around. We think that's smarter expenditure. Okay, I get it. But this is all still kind of like, it's legal, but it's still kind of hush-hush because it's still kind of sketch and it's regulated, but it's not. Like our money's regulated, but the boosters' money's not. And we don't really want to draw attention to, like we gave $2.5 million to a guy who didn't do one autograph session or, didn't do a commercial for anybody. Like, so, it's legal, but we don't really know how legal. I feel like it's probably the first time anybody in Missouri rolled away from a dispensary the first time. I mean, it's legal. Oh damn! I was going to drive down state line. I don't know. Can I only go north? Am I okay going north on state line, or do I need to go to Warnell? I feel like that's where we are right now with the NIL. I got my ganj, but I can't take my favorite road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't pull off here.
Yeah. So. Oh, that's maybe as we get more secure and what we got to do and how we are up to speed, we'll be a little bit more transparent in how much money we're spending. But maybe that's what Bill Self's doing. He's like, listen, I know the ropes. I will do this until football stadium's done. We figured out the NIL. We figured out the portal. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really have no idea because Bill Self does a great job of communicating what he wants out there with people in the media. Right? I mean, Bill Self's heart condition is usually broken by somebody sees him walking into a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's not Bill Self's like, hey, by the way, I got to go in for a procedure.
It's, hey, did you hear what?
Yeah.
Somebody said so-and-so.
Yeah.
Something or other.
He does a nice job of, giving stuff to the media, but not necessarily. And so I don't think Bill Self's going to leak this out there. So I think 1 to 2 weeks, you want an answer if you're Travis Goff. You want it. It's good to want.
Yeah.
It's a phrase I like to tell my children.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's good to want. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
It'll inspire you. Now put some money away and you can buy it when you have it, So I don't think the reality of what's going on right now is really settled in to the Kansas faithful. I think they're just like, no, he's going to be back because we've got a big recruiting class, and Travis Goff has got to be dialing agents right now, doesn't he? Unless Bill Self has told him, dude, I'm 90% I'm going to be back, but let me just chill out, decompress, and I'll give you the 100%. I mean, that's the only way, right, that he's not. Doesn't he? Isn't it Travis Goff's absolute obligation right now to be talking to the agents of whoever he feels are the best candidates? And if that's the case, whose agents are we talking to?
Yeah, and I was just kind of looking at the coaches that are currently still active that might fit the bill. You hear Tommy Lloyd's name a lot, but what's the motivation to leave a place where you're a 1 seed and a decent favorite to win the national championship? Nate Oates.
I like Nate Oates, but
they play on Friday.
There's a lot of people that don't like Nate Oates, and they don't like what I think they perceive as an oily.
Yeah.
Like literally, if you're not behind bars, you're good to go. And with Nate Oates, it feels like.
Yeah.
Even if, like, the gun thing, with the who was that? That was the kid who went 1-1, wasn't it? Or no, it was a different kid, wasn't it?
Is it Miller?
Who was it? Was it Miller?
Brandon Miller.
He was the one with the gun. Had the gun, and people didn't like that.
Yeah.
Obviously everything that's going on with the court cases to try to get guys eligible. But I'm going to tell you, number one on my list at Syracuse, ahead of Jerry McNamara. Don't tell Jerry. Love you, Jerry. You can't fail, buddy.
Look at. I don't think. Dusty May's not going to leave Michigan for 1 year. They're a 1 seed.
I think you got to ask yourself, like,
who's out there and how quickly.
Well, can Kansas? I mean, I listen. We just watched Lane Kiffin be on the doorstep of a national championship and leave in league.
Yeah.
Because LSU said, we will give you a bigger budget for the roster. So if you're Kansas and you want Dusty May, outspend Michigan. Now that's
tough.
Some deep water.
Yeah, that's really deep water.
But there are schools like Michigan, because I know Stanford has even more money than Michigan, and Stanford's like, not doing it. We don't need it. We're not spending, like, we make our money off getting our guys jobs as CEOs. Like, that's where we make Harvards and Yales. They don't need a winning sports team. They get all their money from the people that make them billionaires. Like, they're the launching pad for billionaires. And so just because you have deeper pockets doesn't mean you're necessarily going to throw it all at athletics.
Yeah.
And Michigan is somewhere between Stanford and Kansas, right? But a massive alumni base. A massive alumni base that's just had dirt kicked in its face by Indiana in football. And now it's like, whoa, we're pretty good in basketball. Yeah, I think it would be tough to pry Dusty May away. But Michigan's not Ole Miss.
No.
So I think they would match anything. I think Michigan plays more the role of LSU. Like LSU want to, with actually not being broke. Being flush with cash. Where LSU, is borrowing money to keep things going. But, Dusty May, I mean, you've got a stat. How about the Sweet 16? Like, why would you shy away? John Calipari?
Yeah. Five of the 16 coaches in the Sweet 16 are 67 or older.
John Calipari, 67.
Yep.
73 for Rick Pitino. Who's one of the, on one of the betting boards, one of the favorites for the Carolina job.
Yep.
At 73 years old. What?
Tom Izzo and Rick Barnes are 71. Now, Izzo's probably a lifer at Michigan State. Rick Barnes has been at Tennessee for a little more than 10 years.
Who's 70 then?
Kelvin Sampson.
Kelvin Sampson, 70, yeah.
Who's, I think, in his 9th season there. So,
I mean, I don't think you're going to choose a 67-year-old guy at Kansas, but I think Kansas needs to beware. The Pittsburgh Steelers had that trend of always, only having every coach for 20 years. You got to get the best guy for the job. You got to get the best guy for the job, not the guy who's pretty good, but if it works out, he'll be here for 20 years, so we can keep our fun little stat of only having X number of coaches for so long. If Rick Pitino wants the job, and you can get Rick Pitino to coach you for 5 years, don't be hesitant to go get Rick Pitino, unless his baggage is too much for you.
could you lure Jay Wright out of retirement?
No.
Mark Byington?
I don't.
Is he too early on him at Vanderbilt?
I mean, that's where you.
Ben McCollum?
Early on him? Is it too early? Yes. But is there anyone that looks like Bill Self this time around?
No.
Is there a guy?
No.
Like Bill Self even had a tie to Kansas. He had a tie to the league, and he had a direct tie from being an assistant coach under Larry Brown at Kansas, and he was winning at a Power 5 program already.
Yeah.
Like that was
has done a deal. The minute Roy went, I'm out, everyone was like, well, we knew who's going to be next.
No. And by the way, I'll pull a muscle, pat myself on the back. I said he will be better than Roy.
Hello.
If this is it, chef's kiss.
Well,
multiple national championships, I said. Took a while for that second one, Bill. But you finally made me look good on that one.
By the way, 9 Elite Eights.
9 Elite Eights.
Yeah, 04, 07.
And 4 Final Fours?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. 04, 07, 11, and then 16 and 17 before they got there in 18.
Yeah. Ben McCollum? I mean, like, where are we looking? Like, that's the thing is, like, I don't see the guy who's got an Elite 8, right? Bill had an Elite 8, and then he went out in round of 32. Those were like his second and third years. Was he there 3 years?
Illinois. Yeah.
I know his best year was the year before he left.
Elite 8, Sweet 16, round of 32.
Were his 3 years?
Mm-hmm. Elite 8 in 01, his first year there.
Okay.
Which was his second
Elite 8,
consecutive Elite 8. He went there in Tulsa in 2000. And then Sweet 16 in 02, and then round of 31 in 03.
I mean, you could point to, if Todd Golden had lost in the Final Four of the Elite 8, you could point to him. But Florida's got gobs of money. And we had Ryan Green on. He said, whatever is thrown at Golden, they will match.
Yeah.
And I think we can assume that probably all your 1 seeds. I mean, would you, if you're Tommy Lloyd, would you leave Arizona for Kansas? I mean, I'd definitely give him a call.
Yeah, I'd hear what they have to say.
I mean, but at the end of the day, if Arizona says we're matching, like, do you want to be like I would want them to know Kansas called. If I were him, I'd make sure my agent leaked it that Kansas was after me.
Yeah.
And then I'd want to sit down at a press conference and be like, I'm not going anywhere. This is home. I love this place. Yay, Roy's staying. One of those things. Like, no, I wasn't even considering it. Love Arizona. But I'd want to listen and I'd want to raise.
Here's the difference between the self thing and at that time when Roy Williams stepped aside, he had just coached in the national championship game after coaching in the Final Four. Tommy Lloyd would have to look and say, okay, that's not what Kansas is right now. Am I going to abandon a program that I've taken to a number 1 seed and a championship favorite to go to a program that has some deep history, but in the current modern age of college basketball has been something of a non-factor?
Well, so let me ask this. That brings us back to one of the conversations we had last week. Why has Kansas looked up at Houston for 3 years with Kelvin Sampson, and why have they looked up at Arizona for 2 years?
Yeah.
Maybe Bill Self isn't the problem. Maybe Kansas is the problem. Is there something wrong with the Kansas basketball program? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless they're just not spending, because and I would think that even that would be temporary. It's just that you've taxed the donors so much on catching up with football, which is what really Travis Goff has got, and which is even more reason to do whatever it takes to keep basketball at a high level, because I don't think you can afford for basketball to not be driving the ship until you get football to at least we're a bowl game 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6 situation.
Which would require doing something that program has
never done.
Not done.
But it's where you have to get to in this day and age when you're a power program, the way the bowls work, the way the scheduling works.
It will be, if it happens, if he does decide to step aside, it'll be an amazing measurement of that program based on who they get to replace him. If it's in-house. Yeah, well, I'm saying, but if it's in-house, I mean, how many people, if it gets out that they've offered the job to A, B, and C, and those guys are established guys, if they offer the job to Tommy Lloyd, he says no.
But if Dean Smith had given the job, if he retired earlier and given the job straight to Roy Williams, it would have been the right choice.
Right.
But it wouldn't have been a sign that Carolina couldn't hire somebody.
Right.
See what I'm saying? You know that candidate better than you know anybody else. I think I would say it makes it an incomplete because we don't get to measure who they got.
Yeah, if they just say, hey, this is the guy we've had him picked out, but if they don't,
now
and they have to go shopping.
To your point, if they shop 3 times and we hear that they're linked to Calipari, and all of a sudden suddenly he gets a raise at Arkansas, and they're linked to Tommy Lloyd, and he gets a raise at Arizona, and they're linked to the Vanderbilt coach, and he gets a raise at Vanderbilt, and they keep not. And then they go, okay, now we're promoting Jacques Vaughn? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then your point is valid.
But if they turn around,
if Bill Self says Friday, I'm done, and Saturday they announce a press conference on Monday to announce Jacques Vaughn or Jeremy Case as the next coach.
Yeah. We still don't know.
It certainly looks like we did not get to measure it, although I have to believe Travis Goff is making calls now.
Yeah.
He should be making calls to agents now, finding out who has interest.
And you talked about the ADs and GMs. They always have a list in one of their desk drawers. The idea, the fact that it's Bill Self's health is not a new thing. He's had that list, I would think, for a while. And I'm sure there are different colors of ink for the different names because they've been added on as time has gone by. This is what Bill Self said on Sunday in San Diego. It was not a surprise to Travis Goff. It could not have been.
What's a better job, Arizona or Kansas?
Right now, I think it's probably Arizona.
See, I think Arizona's outperformed Kansas, but I think Kansas is still the better job. I think the history, Allen Fieldhouse is still a more fabled place.
For sure. That's a draw.
And the fact that your conference tournament is in your backyard, it makes it basically a home court advantage for you.
Yeah.
I think that's big. If they start moving this Big 12 tournament around again,
which I don't. I mean, almost every coach, even the
I
coaches
put
from
nothing past the carpetbagging.
That's true.
You know, you ain't got time for anybody except for a national media guy. I put nothing past that guy.
I forgot what's his name again.
Yormark.
Yeah, I forgot the Yormark factor.
Yeah, I put nothing past Yormark. Literally nothing.
We're going to have it on the moon in 2030.
They had the media days for football in Vegas.
Yeah.
With no teams playing anywhere near there.
Excellent point.
So, which is better, Arizona or Kansas? You're the KU guy.
Well, I mean, I struggle with it because, yeah, the Big 12 tournament was in Kansas City, but Arizona still won it this year.
Mm-hmm. But it still makes it easier, don't you think?
In theory, yeah, it should make it
No, not
easier.
in theory. It makes it easier.
Yeah, all right, it makes it easier.
You know, in theory, it'd be like, I think Kansas has an advantage if they play on the moon.
But,
well, that would be a theory, right? Because they haven't done it. They played here, and Kansas fans dominate that building. If Kansas is in it, it's a home game for Kansas. If they play in the game, it's a home game for KU.
100%. But why does Lloyd want to leave Tucson for Lawrence? Wouldn't you rather live in Tucson?
Well, because if you especially if he would turn around and lose, what do they got? They got Arkansas next.
Yes.
So if he loses to Arkansas, I mean, I do think if I think before 3 years ago, what was a better program, Kansas or Arizona?
Kansas.
Okay, so the only thing is that Arizona has beaten them for the last 2 years. That's the only reason we're hesitating on this. They play in the same league now. Kansas has better tradition, better history.
Well, what does that mean in the modern basketball?
And
how much does that mean?
Not as much for sure, but I think it still means something.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure it means too much to these 17 and 18-year-old kids that you're recruiting.
Because that check cashes in any city in the country.
So you would then you're good coaching at Murray State as long as the payroll's the same.
No, I don't think. But
it does matter.
It does matter, but I don't think Murray State. I think Arizona and Kansas are a lot closer.
They are closer, but it still comes down to where if your goal is to win a national championship, where do you have a better chance? I mean, why has Kansas outperformed Arizona for the last 20 years? First answer, Bill Self.
Yeah.
Okay, but Arizona cycled through what they thought were the best coaches. They didn't have nobodies.
Sean Miller, who's coaching this week, was there and had some good teams but couldn't get it done. Couldn't kick the door in.
Yeah, I don't think it's as much of a deciding factor. I think it's harder for Kansas to pull an established guy away. Or maybe it's not. Just give him a bigger payroll.
You're right.
I mean, just do what they would do to get somebody away from you. I mean, like,
exactly.
Overwhelmed, go Lane Kiffin on him. We're going to give you a $20+ million payroll every year. Mm-hmm. Arizona's giving you 10. What do you want to do? Then that's how you go get them.
KU is basketball, and we need to be that again. Continue to be that or be that again, however you view it from their perspective.
913-381-0810, the phone number. I know Larry wants to chime in. You'll lead us off, Larry, when we come back. 913-381-0810. You're in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
Humus? What's that?
It's a lemony garbanzo dip.
You have never seen a football in your life.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You can make plays and win money right now with Underdog. In fact, if you get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash because you can make entries and win money right now in Missouri. Basketball is underway. It's in the heat of the moment. It's in the prime time. NCAA tournament for the college hoops coming down the stretch run headed into the playoffs for the NBA. Listen, I gave you lower on Bam Adebayo's 21.5. He had 18 last night going up against Victor Wembanyama. Plus, I think he's inflated numbers because of the 83 the other day. Easy. Easy. It's right there. Just pick your favorite player, go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, assists, much, much more. They're all there. Just download the app, and you can see. Listen, if you download the app today and use promo code Soren, you can score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Soren, S-O-R-E-N. It's all at Underdog, right? So download that app right now. Use promo code Soren. Score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, promo code Soren, S-O-R-E-N. It's all at Underdog. Make plays. Win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/plain get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpggambling.org.
Spring is right around the corner, and so are the savings at Big O Tires. Now through April 12th, save up to $160 on select sets of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. It's the perfect time to replace those worn-out tires and get your vehicle road trip ready. Plus, Big O Tires offers expert service on brakes, alignments, oil changes, and more, all with convenient financing options to fit any budget. Visit your locally owned and operated Big O Tires today. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Stop renting.
You listen to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Enough of us. Let's hear from you. 913-810-810. I mentioned Larry would lead us off. You're in the program, Larry. What's going on, buddy?
Thanks, Soren.
You bet.
Not much. Great discussion so far. My sister and I had the same discussion last night about if Bill leaves, who could replace him. And her son-in-law said, well, Lloyd from Arizona. And I said, well, why would he leave Arizona to come here?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're
blue blood.
There is that aspect, but they've won a national championship as well there, and he's bested Kansas his first couple of years in the league. So I mean, I don't think it's just a layup.
He had 2 top 10 recruits that are freshmen this year, and we had 1. 2's better than 1 usually.
Well, I'll give you a reason why Kansas might want to throw everything at him. He not only is he clearly doing a nice job here with high school recruits and everything else, but he's also known as one of the best international recruiters. In fact, he was given all the credit. It's one of the reasons why Gonzaga took kind of a big step back when he first left, because he was the guy that would identify all the international players and bring them over. So he's got great connections on that as well.
Yeah, Illinois has done the same thing. I mean, they got the kid from Saudi Mission here that no one else knew about. Then they got all these foreigners too, So people are looking other places than KU has been. I think KU's been searching top 50 recruits listed by everybody, and they're not looking for the people that they used to have, like Mason and Graham. They weren't highly recruited, but they ended up being stars because they stayed around.
Well, I don't know. I mean, did Melvin Council fit that bill?
Well,
I mean, the days of having a roster filled with guys who
look at the back of the baseball card.
Yeah, I know, but that's
Council isn't a great player, and Trey White wasn't either. He shot his career record best 40%. Mm-hmm. If you look at his career average, it's closer to 30 than 40.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm aware. I mean, I would say that. Listen, I'm not one to take the best player and say it's all his fault, like he's the one who didn't get it done, but not being able to get any chemistry together. I mean, this was just a weird, goofy year. I mean,
it wasn't.
To me, the question they've got to be asking themselves is, number one, are $1 million? I mean, I don't know. I've heard estimates of $3 million for Darren Peterson. Are 3 $1 million players better than 1 $3 million player? I would tell you yes, because I think the bidding war at the top, I think that's a curve that spikes up, and the closer to the top you get, the faster it goes up. And so I think the bidding war for A.J. DeBonsa and Darren Peterson, I'll bet you A-Cuff is making half, 2/3. If you could have A-Cuff and 2 more Melvin Councils instead of Darren Peterson, would you be a better team? Yeah, I think so. And so I think there's some, I'm dealing with numbers that are secondhand at best, since we don't have the salary cap data like we do for professional sports when it comes to the college side. But I think the real question for Kansas was this, is still, and I think it's a question that everybody's trying to figure out everywhere, and Larry, thank you for the call, is roster construction. Did they construct it the right way? If you can get the best player in the country, do you want him? Yes, you want him. I mean, did a booster say, okay, I'll go above and beyond, here's the extra? Yes, here, go do it. I don't know. But, I mean, I think you need to look back and say, okay, do we go back to our money guys and say, okay, we had a $14 million roster here, or a $12 million roster. We were planning on 10, but you gave us the extra 2 to go above and beyond on Darren Peterson. Well, give me the 12 again, and I'm going to spend it this way, and this is why it'll work better. And that's what every program in the country is doing right now that doesn't end up holding up hardware at the end of the year. Joe, you're in the program. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, what's going on, sir? And I appreciate you taking the call. Great discussion today. I just had a quick question, maybe coming from this from a little bit different perspective as far as hiring the coach, if indeed that is the case. So I've heard it said among the coaches, kind of an axiom, if you will, that, and of course this is from years back, not necessarily when people have thrown millions of dollars at you, but kind of you don't want to necessarily follow a legend or an icon. So just to get your opinion, would it be something to approach this like as a bridge candidate, maybe an older coach, but someone who would just kind of let the dust settle, from the Bill Self era and not put so much pressure on the incoming coach live up to that legacy?
I mean, I don't think you want to follow a legend unless you're Tom Osborne. I don't think you want to follow a legend unless you're Bill Self. Let's be honest. He wasn't following chopped meat when he took over for Roy Williams. Roy Williams wasn't following, a guy that was a hack, and Larry Brown. He'd just won a national championship, a second program he'd taken to the Final Four. He'd been in playoffs in the NBA. I mean, Larry Brown was an iconic figure, really, when he left. So, yes, I mean, when you look back on it, unless you are your own legend about to happen, and I think every coach thinks they are.
Right. So, do you think someone like a Mark Turgeon would be someone to consider?
I would consider Mark Turgeon, and then I would probably move on. I mean, I think the performance at Maryland, I think he would do better at Kansas than he did at Maryland, but he'd be asked to do much better at Kansas than he did at Maryland. And whether he just had some bumpy waters in the tournament, but it's even harder now. I mean, to your point, the job that someone's taken over is one where they expect to be a 1 seed all the time, right? Because that's what it felt like Bill Self was. And so it is going to be high expectations. And, yeah, I mean, I think the Kansas fans need to be ready that it may look more like Ted Owens for a few years if you can't find the next Bill Self.
I appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good points, Joe. 913-3-810-810. John, you're in the program. What's up, John?
Yeah, hey, Soren. Great discussion today, like everyone's saying. I'm actually a Kansan living out here in Arizona. And, again, I mean, U of A basketball is massive. I know local people in the Kansas City area don't want to believe that it's as big as KU's brand, but I think Kurtis made the best point. If we're talking 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think maybe Tommy Lloyd's considering it. And I won't pretend to know what each coach's budget is, but I'm just shocked that every Kansas fan immediately goes to a guy at Florida, a guy at Michigan, a guy at Arizona. I mean, if the NIL is the same, I mean, what are we talking about? Or, you know what I mean? If the revenue share is the same, it's got to be that next crop of guys, in my opinion. And, out here in Arizona, this, you're closer to L.A., probably an easier recruiting base next to California. You don't got to wear a winter coat to walk to practice in the morning in December. I don't know. If KU fans are set on Tommy Lloyd, and I don't think that's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's a lot harder to get Tommy Lloyd now than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But I think don't underestimate the will of the Kansas fans. The reason why Kansas fans are saying Todd Golden and Tommy Lloyd and all these names that you're like, well, why would they leave for that? Is because that's one of the reasons why you might go there. That's the expectation. The expectation is that this is the best program in the country. Listen, when they hired Tommy Lloyd at Arizona, he was not a no-brainer, can't-miss guy. He was an assistant, right, who had never, I don't think had ever been a head coach, right? He was
they got to find the next Tommy Lloyd.
Right, but my point is Kansas hired Bill Self after going to an Elite Eight, back-to-back years between Tulsa and then Illinois and being Elite Eight, Sweet 16, round of 32 at a Big Ten program. That is the weight that Kansas basketball has carried over the years.
A coach who beat them in the NCAA tournament 3 years earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that was not where Arizona was hiring from. They made the right hire. They hired a great prospect, and he is delivering the goods, especially if he goes on and wins the championship or plays for it this year. It's going to really validate that. But right now, if he loses in the Sweet 16, he's just Sean Miller.
No, I agree with you. And when it like we're talking about 10, 15, 20 years ago, completely understand why Self leaves Illinois to go to Kansas. But when guys like A.J. DeBonce are going to BYU now, I just think the landscapes of hey, can we compete here? Hey, are we going to have the budget to win big? I just think that's more available now than ever. I mean, heck, Florida's won more national championships in this, since 2000.
Everybody's spending money. Do you think you really think everybody's willing to just blow up and overspend? Everywhere we turn, Florida State's $230 million in the red. Rutgers is $76 million in the red this year. Kansas is $15 million in the red right now. Now, a big part of that, though, is they're doing this massive construction project as well. All right, so that's one of the reasons they're being weighed upon. They've been in the black. Again, I don't like saying programs are in the black when they take donations, but That's how they measure it. They've been in the black for years as an athletic program previous to this. But the idea that, yes, money's what does it, but everybody's not spending like BYU. Ole Miss is not going to spend like LSU. That's why they don't have Lane Kiffin right now. So the question is, will Kansas spend like LSU? If they will and Arizona won't, then you've got an excellent chance to pull Tommy Lloyd away.
No, I agree, and I do think Kansas is going to get like 4 or 5 guys, really nice extensions, because we're talking about Florida, Michigan, and Arizona. I think those kinds of places are going to keep spending, and they're just such big brands and such well-oiled machines. I don't think it's the same like when Bill Self says, "Can I really win as big at Illinois as I can at Kansas?" You can at Florida, TBD at Michigan, but it looks pretty good last 10 years with them having Final Four success, and same as Arizona. So I'm not trying to rag on Kansas at all. Massive respect for the program, massive respect for Bill Self. Who like you talked about, I think a guy who might be a little early, but maybe Ben McCollum ends up being the guy after the guy. That would be a really interesting one. Hey, maybe Fred Hoiberg's a name that they look at. I think that'd be a home run hire if they could get him away from Nebraska. Maybe he doesn't because he's got the Big 12 ties and the Iowa State ties, but I think it's more of that category.
Yeah, it's interesting, and John, thank you for the call that you mentioned those guys, because McCollum's got 1 year at Drake and 1 year at Iowa, and we're talking about him getting the Kansas job, which is, listen, he may end up being a guy that they're like, this guy knows it all, he gets it all, he'd be a great hire. I think it's too early. I don't think he's ready for it. I don't think he's proven that he's ready for it. Fred Hoiberg has peed literally a drop this year at Nebraska. He was headed into a make-or-break year. Now, he's delivering, but this is one time he's gotten to the tournament. And to his credit, he's making the most of it while he's there. And I think his days at Iowa State prove that he really knows what he's doing. But I don't think he's hiring Fred Hoiberg right now would still be hiring a longer shot than hiring Bill Self was the last time.
His conference finishes as he got into Nebraska in 2014, 14th, 13th, 11th, 3rd in 24. He got there in NCAA, lost in the first round. Then 12th last year, and then 2nd this year. So he's double-digit finishes in the conference 5 of the 7 years he's been there.
913-810-810, you're in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
One take wonder.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen, you've heard me talk about Joslin's Jewelry. They're right there on the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. Gary Joslin was born and raised here in Kansas City. Mom and pop jeweler, that's something that some of the big box stores, they say it like, oh, look, a little mom and pop jewelry store. Fine. Gary loves it. Yeah, you know what it means? It means, he's family owned, been there for 50 years, right? Voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City by Ingram's Magazine. What does that tell you? How about #1 jewelry store? Mom and pop? Sure. Also, #1 jewelry store. Best customer service, incredible selection. Like if it's birthday season for you and your family and you're looking for a birthstone, they've got hundreds to choose from in every single one. Maybe it's a tennis bracelet. Maybe it's a pearl necklace. Maybe it's the stackable necklaces, diamond stud earrings. Maybe it's an engagement ring with almost 1,000 to choose from. You've got an incredible selection. Plus, again, like I said, the most knowledgeable staff. Gary buys his diamonds and makes sure that they are all exquisite. Only scintillating diamonds will do for Gary. He lives by one credo. If he wouldn't put it on his wife's finger, if he wouldn't put it on his daughter's finger, it's not going to be in the jewelry store. By the way, his wife and daughter, they both work at Joslin's Jewelry as well. Family owned, you're treated like family the moment you walk in the door, and you're dealing with the most knowledgeable staff around with the best selection of jewelry in town. That's why Joslin's Jewelry is #1. That's right, the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City. You can find them online at joslinsjewelry.com or see them in person at 95th and Antioch. Tell them the program sent you to Joslin's Jewelry, the gold standard in fine jewelry.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
March basketball is here. Buzzer beaters, big moments, where greatness comes to play and legends are made. That same competitive energy lives at Aristocrat Motors, where they treat every customer like a champion. Experience elite service when you shop the incredible lineup of luxury vehicles at Aristocrat Motors. Visit aristocratmotors.com to schedule a test drive at one of their 4 Kansas City and Topeka area locations. Experience the luxury of Aristocrat Motors online at aristocratmotors.com. Golf season is here, and everything you need is in the palm of your hand with the Great Life Kansas City app. Download it today to book tee times at the best available rates, use the built-in digital scoreboard with GPS yardage, and enter weekly and season giveaways for prizes all year long. Get instant updates on specials, events, and exclusive offers across all Great Life Classic and Premier locations. Plus, we're excited to launch the new Drum Farm mobile app in 2026 for an even
I went a little long taking your calls. Time well spent. However, TJ Otzelberger, Thunderdome, throws his hat into the ring, says that's who he'd be after. If Bill Self steps away, are you good with TJ Otzelberger being the next head coach of Kansas? Young Kyle, or are you intimidated by the gun show that he brings to the sideline?
No, I'd like that.
Do they make KU coaches gear in mediums?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I'm a large to extra large
Are you?
myself. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's interesting that TJ Otzelberger and Sam McDowell wear the same size shirt.
What?
It is.
Yeah. They wear it differently.
Yeah.
But they wear the same size shirt. It's a fact. You can look it up. It's a fact. He'll be with us a little bit later on. The Godfather, Frank Bull, will be with us next here in the program.
All right, who was the last school to play in their home city in the Sweet 16? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Francis.
Yes. Hello, Soren. Hello, Kay.
How are you?
Kyle. I can't do that very well.
Can't do the cow.
I came to Kyle.
Cow.
Just say cow.
Cow.
How would you say cow?
Yeah, how would
Cow.
you say it?
Cow.
You got to add an L, though,
Very good. Thank you.
because you're from Pittsburgh, and so the L's become W's.
Absolutely. Just roll your L's, right? College.
Frank Bowl, brought to you by our friends at Applause Custom Sight and Sound, Kansas City's best when it comes to smart home technology, smart office technology as well. Maybe it's an in-home theater, security, surveillance, rocket-fast Wi-Fi. They do it all. Find them online at applausetheater.com.
Smart people are sponsoring me?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Smart home
Thank
technology,
Applause.
and they
Thanks,
are very
guys.
smart.
Thank you.
Really good customer service, too. Great craftsmanship.
Appreciate
I love them. I love them.
I know you do. Hey, I was an eyewitness the other day.
You were there.
I was there.
Mooching a seat, watching all the games.
Mooching the food
Yeah.
from
Well,
LaFeta.
How was the sandwich?
Oh, world.
Yeah.
Kidding, a little spice in that thing. It was great. I had the Beach as a Beach Boy. As Beach Boy.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was one
it
of them we
was
had. Yep.
awesome. It was really good.
They do a great little tray if people are interested for catering and whatnot. And we had a couple of trays of sandwiches. They come in like, I think, thirds, which is still a pretty
still
big
big.
sandwich.
That's a big sandwich. Heck
The
yeah.
third is, but then you can try different varieties.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it was great.
Several individuals there tried all four.
A little sample platter
Yeah, I know.
over the course of several hours.
They tried all four.
Yeah. And I can tell you they're fine the next day, too.
Yeah, they are.
Because they were
so
lunch for
good.
me the next day.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell you, they're pretty damn good the day after that, too. Because they were lunch that day, too.
That's what happens
Waste
when you
not,
use.
want not.
That's what happens when you use good ingredients, particularly good bread.
Yeah. Thanks to our friends, Adam, his team. They're great at LaFeta. Had everything ready to go on time. And that was coming right off of being shut
They
down
were
for
off for a
4
while,
days
yeah.
for spring break.
Right. And the only reason that happens is because he opened his store and his employees told him they'd already had plans. And he, knowing Adam, of course, take it off and we'll just
we'll figure
shut
it out.
down for a day. And we'll
He's good
figure it
people.
out.
Well, I think
Well, they're 4 days or so.
I think then he realized, oh, wow, we're really popular.
Yeah, exactly.
Thought we'd just kind of push through on this, but
Didn't think they're going to explode like they did.
Yeah.
I told him, he's like, I said, dude,
relax.
Somebody is going to come and be like, oh, damn, they're closed. Just put the sign on the door. They'll be back the first day you're open.
That's right.
You know, if you're good,
They're
you're
never
good.
going to come back. Oh, they'll be back.
No, they'll be back. They're back. They already are back.
Yep.
Frank?
Yes?
Shall we look at a mock draft? Should we talk something other than
good
basketball?
Lord. Yeah, that's fine. I just want to give you kudos. You're one of the first guys, and I know it's not official, but you're one of the first guys that, and you sort of stunned me with it when you first said it was a few months ago that you thought this was Bill Self's last year as the head coach of Kansas, and it's looking more and more and more like that at the moment.
Yeah.
Nothing official.
We know it's at least in
From the
play.
man, it's definitely in play, just from what he said post and what we've heard since. So
I mean, I think
this is a tough road. This is a tough thing to do.
I think it's a tough decision for him. I'm
I
sure
do
he.
too.
My assumption is he's leaning one way or the other. I thought it was interesting. Myron Metcalf, if you missed it, it would have been the 12 o'clock hour.
Yep.
If you want to go back and catch the podcast of The Zone, Myron Metcalf always does a great job. And he said, look, he was there 3 months ago doing a big story on Darren Peterson. And he said he came away at that time thinking this would be Bill Self's last year. And he said he doesn't think any differently now.
No.
That he thinks this was it. Now, again, he said thinks. He's not reporting it as a fact.
Right.
I'm not reporting it as a fact.
Nope.
I do feel like Kansas recognized a little bit last year and a lot this offseason that the end was coming sooner than later. That it was no more about, well, he's just got to balance some things out. That it was like, no, the wrap is coming. Is it this year? I don't know, but it's coming soon.
And you have to be prepared.
And I think they were. I think first of all, I think Travis Goff is on top of things, you know. But here you are. Well, I was going to talk draft, but now we're
No, it's okay.
Let's stay with it. Let's stay with it because we're already down that road.
Let's be organic.
Because I remembered what it was. Remember I said there was something that was brought up that I wanted to bring up, and I couldn't remember what it was when we got to the break.
See?
So let's stay with this because on the subject of Tommy Lloyd, if you wanted to go after Tommy Lloyd at Arizona, who's his athletic director?
I do not know off the top of my head.
Is it
It's got to be a
the
Kansas.
former Missouri AD, isn't it? Yeah, it's
Desiree Reed Francois. You don't even remember her name. DRF.
I'm thinking DGB. No,
Isn't it
it's not.
DRF? Desiree
Yeah.
Reed Francois?
Yeah.
Desiree Reed Francois, who, listen, when somebody leaves, you blame everything on them.
Yeah, right. And she
When
got
they
a lot
left-
of blame.
But she left Missouri to take a lower paying job.
Yeah.
Okay? She got paid less at Arizona than she got paid at Missouri. And there's people have heard, if you know anyone at Missouri, they've heard all the speculation of some of the shenanigans that were going on. I was like, Travis Goff or Desiree Reed Francois?
Yeah.
Like,
Or she could have learned her lesson.
like
She could.
or what we heard is complete sour grapes and
Yes,
there's nothing to it.
exactly, yeah.
But what is a fact is she took less money.
Yeah.
She left for less money. You don't usually do that unless you think the more money ain't necessarily going to be there.
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah.
and I heard mixed reviews at best from the UNLV folks. I told those stories when she was hired at Missouri, and I don't hear mixed reviews. I hear mostly negative reviews from her time at Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
there's
want
something there.
yeah, I mean, listen, give me a guaranteed contract with a $50 million buyout for $10 million a year. I'll work for anybody.
Hands up.
So
I probably would.
if she's got that, you would be the one that would need to think about it.
Curtis.
Hang on.
I don't know.
Curtis.
Do I have to get up?
Do I have to move?
Curtis, you'd have to fly in an airplane.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, fine.
As long as I'm
Then
paid
we're
for it.
good.
Yeah, but so I was like, I don't know what it's. Did she hire him or did she inherit him?
Good.
I think she inherited him.
So somebody else hired him. He was already had his contract and everything else.
I'm pretty sure she
stipulated at that
inherited
point,
him, so he's not working for the AD that hired
Yeah.
him.
So the other thing is too. Okay, say Bill does step down. Okay, it's Kansas. Okay, blue blood. I think it's much more difficult now to satisfy the alumni now with the blue bloods than it used to be. Just because the NIL and everything
It's
else.
just
is going-
harder. It's harder.
It's harder to coach those kids.
The blue blood doesn't raise you as high up on their shoulders as it used to.
Exactly, and it's tougher to coach those kids because they're sitting there, with the hammer a little bit, going, "Hey, where's my playing time? I got to put up more shots. What's going on, coach? What's the deal? I'll just transfer. It's tough keeping them. Bill is one of those coaches that loves to have the kids in. I know he deals with one and dones, but the other 4 guys are there for 3 years at least. And I think he deals well. No. I don't mean now.
Oh,
I
then,
mean
yeah.
before NIL and before the transfer portal. And it was a lot easier, number one, to recruit those kids to your university, and number two, to keep them there. And the only kids you didn't keep then were the kids that weren't getting any playing time, and they weren't living up to their reputations anyway, and they'd go transfer somewhere else.
And for the record, he got there in the 21-22 season, so he'd gone to 2 Sweet 16s before she took the job. She's been on the job there almost exactly 2 years.
And I'm pretty confident she was told, don't mess with that guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think he's got a situation where, but you never know. I mean, she did not hire him.
Yeah, money speaks too.
He's won so much that it's pretty hard for her to be like, whoa, not my guy.
Right.
Yeah, I know. And that's a problem for you.
Yeah. You also worry about how deep are the pockets out there. They got the football to deal with as well. Division I football and the Big 12 in the
So
whatever
does
they are now.
Kansas. I don't know if
The
you
Big
heard.
No. I don't mean. I meant at Kansas.
Oh.
About hiring a new coach and getting him away from there and how much money that costs compared to how much other money do we have to spend on our athletic program, our football. We got the new stadium. We got lots of stuff going on here, and the job isn't as attractive as it used to be. It's still a great job, but it's still not as attractive as it used to be.
Is it not as attractive, or are other jobs just more attractive because of the money?
I think it's just money. I don't think it's a university even. I don't think it's a name of a school. I think it's how much you got. How much you got. Okay, fine.
But can't we all agree that we think the Blue Bloods probably have more? They've always had more, and now as they ask theirs to step up, they're starting from a higher point. They should be able to step up better.
Yeah, but look who's winning though. Now, I mean, Arizona's sort of a blue blood, right?
Duke, Arizona.
No, Duke is Duke. Yeah, North Carolina's out. Okay, Kansas is out. Okay, Indiana, I don't even know if we consider them blue blood anymore because it's been a while. Now,
Florida won it last year.
Right.
Connecticut won it the 2 years before that.
in a
Those
row.
are all
Blue
repeat
bloods.
champions.
Yeah, right.
And
That
one
with
was
older
a
coaches.
1 seed this year and 1 seed 2.
You know
and
what
they're
I'm
still
hearing?
playing.
I'm hearing a pissy Villanova attitude here.
I
That's what I'm hearing.
am.
We ain't what we used to be.
Damn right we're
Therefore,
not.
sounds like all the other guys are doing fine. It's just your Villanova that's been
My
found
guy
out.
left. My guy left. Said, no, I'm not doing this trash. I'm out.
I hear a guy going, "Please come back, Jay."
Oh, yeah, he won't come back.
Jay,
He's still on campus, though.
I miss your suits. I miss your musk. Your scent. Jay.
Whoa.
So you miss it more than I do.
Yeah.
My God.
That's the line
I
from,
wasn't
Where'd
going
you-
from
where'd you pull
Anchorman.
that
Yeah,
from?
right, it
Oh.
is. It is. Anchorman.
Champ. I miss your musk.
I'm not.
Your scent.
That's
I'm just trying to be whatever. It's harder now. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It's harder now.
Man,
It is. It is. But some of the older coaches have adjusted.
I don't know.
Look at Rick
I mean,
Pitino.
but hang on. Let's examine
St.
that.
John's.
Is it harder or just different? I mean, Indiana won,
Yeah, football. Yeah. No,
which is more expensive than basketball.
Yeah,
So
right,
it seems
exactly.
like
Yeah.
find the guy who knows where to put the money. It seems like less decisions to be made in basketball than football. It seems like the Signetti formula should be easier to accomplish in basketball. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's completely the battery and backwards. That no, because each one player more rides on each one player, so the margin for error is less.
Yeah. There's no quarterback of
Plus,
basketball.
Yeah.
So, that team.
But it means
was-
if you get it right,
Yeah.
you've hit an even bigger home run.
Yeah, that team, the Indiana team was their defense was spectacular.
Spectacular.
It wasn't just Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah,
As good as he was.
yeah. And the deal is, too, it comes down to some of those financial things as well. It's like, do we pay this kid $5 million or do we pay these other two kids $2.5 each? Or we get 3 other kids for $5 million. You know what I mean? One of those. I mean, but that's all stuff you have to
Wait, say that
figure
part
out as
again?
a coach. So instead of giving one kid, I'm not saying Darren Peterson's making $5 million. All I'm
I
saying
heard
is,
3.
okay, here's the deal: paying one kid $3 million or 2 kids who are pretty doggone good at 1.5 each.
I definitely think that's because
know what I mean?
usually speaking, your top guy, like I said, if he's at 3, DeBonce's at 3.5 or 4,
Yeah.
and then next guy's probably at 2, and then there's a 1.8, a 1.7, a 1.6, a 1.5. You know, I mean, usually it's not. There's a couple of guys that are up there in the stratosphere, and
Or
so
even just one.
if
way
you
up
look, part of it, Bill Self did nothing wrong in getting Darren Peterson. It just, and unless
It really just
unless
didn't
you
work.
knew that, like, well, he's kind of a fragile guy. I mean, look, I appreciate the story that was written about how, well, I had this cramping thing, and
Full
then
body cramps,
full
yeah.
body cramp, and then every time, I kind of would feel something, I was worried about it. Okay, I mean, I appreciate the explanation,
But
again, I'll say, how about a Gatorade? I mean, I got like that was suddenly like everyone's like, huh, mystery solved. Well,
how about some electrolytes in
I
there,
mean,
kid?
Not so much.
You're cramping?
It didn't end up being the chief of police after you pulled the mask off with Scooby-Doo standing right there. I mean, this didn't just solve it all. I mean, it was still like, okay, I got it. It was a traumatic event, but
Can you play? Come on.
I don't know. I nobody knows what someone else's body is feeling like and doing, but it's still bizarre world and always will be.
Yeah, it is.
For me, and so I don't know that anybody could have seen that coming. But
Did they have a shot at the A-Cuff kid?
I'm sure. Well, I think everybody did.
Okay.
But I mean, John Calipari's pretty good. If
Yeah, he is.
kid
He's
likes
great.
Calipari and Cal likes the kids, it's gonna be tough to beat him. But
Just
you know,
got his
I-
own shoe deal.
I toured Arkansas.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet campus.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
nice place.
it's up on a hill, and Fayetteville's pretty cool little college town, and
Got some Walton money in
Well,
there somewhere. Yeah. A little this, a little that.
5, 6 kid I know liked it. So
Yeah, that's right. A lot of kids from here go. Tell you that.
So where's he from? Where's A-Cuff from?
I'm just looking at Bradenton, Florida.
Okay.
I'm seeing ESPN said that there were 4 schools on him Arkansas, Kansas, Michigan, and UConn.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Blue Bloods are still in the middle of it. Yeah.
I'm looking at 24/7 to see what they've got.
But it may have been that once Peterson, well, we kind of know Peterson's going there, and he's going to play on the ball more than we want.
Exactly
and
right.
Need the ball. I mean, there's a little bit of the quarterback. If you're a point guard, it's a little bit of the quarterback element of like, well, only one of us is going to throw it.
Yeah.
The other one's going to hold a clipboard. In this case, the other one's got to play off the ball. That's not my game. My game's on the ball. And I'm sure Calipari's like, you come here. Where were Peterson's last schools?
Let me see.
Because there's a little bit of a plinko that happens with, well, that spot's filled.
Yeah.
And I play with the ball in my hand, and that guy plays with the ball in his hand. I'm not going there.
Yeah, those kids and their handlers are smart. Really smart these days.
But yeah, Acuff could have been had. Listen, I'll take Acuff over Peterson right now, all day, every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. And I'm going to tell you, like, you're not hearing that much because there are people that haven't read 9 other people say that. I think you're going to be reading that in the future, and I think you will start hearing everybody say Acuff ahead of Peterson.
Yeah.
Peterson was also offered by Kentucky, USC, Ohio State, and Kansas State.
Okay. Where's he from?
He is from California.
California. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, they Calipari's
he's
known
good
for pumping point guards out too.
He's good, yeah.
So if you're a point guard in Calipari, he's going to give you the ball.
Yeah.
He's going to let you run the show. And Bill Self usually loses on those guys. Every time he's run up against Calipari, he's lost. So there is clearly an MO out there that if you're a point guard and Cal's on you and Self's on you, you go to Cal.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mean California University. I mean John Calipari.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he
Coach Cal.
Kansas was runner-up on John Wall. I think they were in it on Derrick Rose, weren't they?
I can't remember. I think that's right.
But they were definitely runner-up on John Wall.
Yeah, the fist bump, wasn't that?
Yeah. Maybe they weren't
right.
even runner-up, but
That's
I mean, he didn't get John
Phantom
Wall.
fist bump.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think other point guards that have come through there, but anyway.
Yeah.
But I do
20/20 hindsight at the moment. So
I do think I still Darren Peterson started and finished looking like James Harden to me. And Acuff looks. I mean, people are going to say like, Derrick Rose. He was an MVP in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, injuries got him in the end. His career wasn't a 20-year career, but Acuff knocks down threes. Acuff beats guys off the bounce. He controls the game. He gets everybody involved.
yeah.
They needed him to score in that last game, and he put 37 up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What is not to like? I mean, they were in a fight. Maybe they shouldn't have been, but they were in a fight. By the way, High Point had the highest. I saw some people say that High Point had the highest roster of most expensive roster of anybody in the mid majors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen other videos that
they were no joke.
They take it serious.
Yeah, they were no joke.
It's a basketball place.
But they were in a fight, and he's like, "You need me to score? All right, I'll score.
No. Give me the ball."
And he's played 3 weeks where every time he left, he didn't practice all the time, and every time he left, he went out in a walking boot.
Yeah.
And he played for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Compared to hot pads, or heating pad.
I'm with you, man.
Guy takes off his boot and goes and balls for 20-something and 8 dimes.
Yeah. And plays his butt off the whole time. Yeah. Big difference.
Hey, would you? No way I was going. When that was quote, no way I was going to miss that game.
Yeah,
that's the game he scored like 49.
40, yeah.
49. Yeah, he was one of the 3. It was the first time ever 3 freshmen had scored 40 plus.
Yeah.
In one night in college basketball, and he was one of them.
Yeah, after being in a walking boot.
Which I think was the same night that Peterson had heating pads or something going on. Or did he play and have a decent night? I don't know. He didn't have 40 though. He wouldn't. It was DeBonsa, Acuff, and then a kid from a smaller school. It wasn't Wagler, was it?
No,
but I think it was like a smaller school freshman.
I think that's right.
And 3 of them had 40 plus, and Acuff was one of them. Yeah, and asked like, "Well, no way I was going to miss that game."
Yeah, and they're still
walked into the arena in a boot, and hung 49. Yeah, I'll take that kid. Even if he's not the tallest guy out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heard a little discussion about that. I thought was
still pretty good.
Whimsical. Oh, whimsical. How tall is he? 6'2", 6'3"?
Let me see.
The other interesting thing about him is the NBA deal. Now, if I'm an NBA guy, I'm drafting that. I got question marks there. I just do. I just have them just from a physical standpoint. Are these things
On Peterson?
gone? I mean, is this over?
6'3".
This is going to be
6'3"?
no more. You know, we know exactly what's wrong with them. We're taking care of them, and this is never going to happen again.
Look, I'm not predicting this. I think DeMonts is going to go 1.
Yeah.
Because I think a shot. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but I don't see anything wrong with the shot. The athleticism is off the charts.
Out of this world.
Plenty of size. I mean, but I mean, it's a guard-driven league.
Yeah.
And it won't shock me if we start hearing, well, you know,
Acuff.
so-and-so's talking about Acuff, you know.
You bet. Especially at 2.
I think DeMonts will go 1.
Yeah, and then either.
But I think you better look at Acuff. And I said the same thing about Zion Williamson. I said, I don't know, 290 pounds, and they want to play him out on the wing, thundering up and down, and he really doesn't.
Tilting the hardwood?
Well, he doesn't shoot that well, so if he has a knee injury or leg injury start piling up and he's 290, like, what is he going to be? I'd take a look at this Ja Morant. Now, Ja Morant's been his own pile of problems.
Mm-hmm.
But the talent was certainly there.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone's like, Zion's number 1. He's not even discussed it. Well, there should have been. You should have discussed it. I'm okay if you landed on Zion over Ja Morant, but you better have discussed it. And you can sit there and if you have 1-1, you'd be like, the answer. Well, you better discuss Acuff. Like, you better be like, what is he?
Yeah, to run your team. He's going to run the team.
I mean, the jumper looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's quick.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought it was he was one of those 3, but he wasn't. Actually, there were 3 others.
Oh, Acuff wasn't?
No,
but he did have like a big 49-point game one night.
I remember
and that was when he wore the boot into the arena.
That part was accurate. It was DeBonsa, Wagler, and Kingston Flemings.
I was wondering if Wagler, Kingston Flemings, Wagler was the small school guy, you know, Illinois. I was thinking of a guy who wasn't as big a recruit.
Yeah, that's definitely him.
Yeah, that was definitely Wagler. These
2 of those 3 are playing this weekend.
By the way, have you watched him play?
Yes.
What were they? What were they looking at?
I have no idea.
I mean, he went to Illinois. He's not playing at UMKC. Yes. No offense, Coach Sturgeon, but I mean, he went to Illinois. But how did he get past these schools?
Got loose. Yeah.
Yeah.
What in that game do you look at and go, I don't know. I don't know. That's SEC caliber ball. What do you look at that kid and what's wrong with him? He runs the point. At 6'6", which means he's probably really 6'4 1/4, 6'4 1/2. He's got size. He's got change of direction. I mean, what's not to like about that kid?
Who else was on him? Let me find that.
The other deal is, to me, really a fun story is the Nebraska story. I mean, Nebraska's a great story. I just think that. And I know they're playing Iowa. It's going to be must-see TV. It's going to be great.
I called that in one of our Frank opinions, that's the Sweet Corn 16 game.
What did they dub it last night on Van Pelt Sports Center? The crops against the corn.
It's pretty good.
I like that.
Crops against the corn was what they're calling Nebraska and Iowa.
That's great.
Other teams that were on Wagler other than Illinois, Murray State, Southern Illinois, Colorado State, and Minnesota.
Holy gosh. Wow.
Who had the local area for KU, K-State, and Missouri?
At some point in the last 5 months.
How about Brad Underwood for the Kansas job?
You're right.
I mean, I know he's a Wildcat, but
yeah.
Yep.
Hell of a coach.
What has he done that's, especially if he beats Houston?
Oh.
Sometime within the last 5 months, at least one person from each of the local schools, a recruiting person, has been
called into an office.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Can you help me out with what was going on here?
Why were we not on that guy?
Yeah, how about who's...
You'd have to be.
It
you have to be at least asked to be.
Ageism. Is the kid from Nebraska.
Which one?
The kid from... is he from... No,
is there... one of the kids is from here?
Isn't there a kid from here on Nebraska's team?
I don't think there's...
there might be.
There's one on Iowa.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it might be
Bennett Sturtz.
Bennett Sturtz.
Yeah, Bennett Sturtz.
Yeah, that's the kid. Yeah.
Well, hell, he was at Northwest Missouri for 2 years.
I know that. Yeah.
He just followed McCollum.
And
around.
McCollum leaves, and he goes and shoot. Well,
Went to
it'd be
Drake
tough.
and then followed him right on to
Would have
Iowa.
been tough.
By the way,
because he
and as
was
we
attached to Coach McCollum.
we kind of highlighted in the last hour. I mean, this has been an amazing story for Nebraska, but
Yeah.
This is year 7 for Hoiberg. And
Yeah, I
this
know.
is the
Year
first time it's
1
really clicked.
for McCollum. Now, he is taking over
Yeah.
a program. Yeah, I know Iowa
It
grew
was-
tired of Fran McCaffrey,
Yeah.
but they didn't suck.
No, and he was in the tournament
Right,
again with somebody
away with
Penn.
Penn. He was his alma mater. It's like his 5th school he's taken to the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't take, but I mean, his whole roster's new.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the stature of the program wasn't taken over like
there is
Northwestern,
Yeah, right.
or Nebraska.
There is one of his 5 that
Is
an
inherited?
Iowa guy,
Yeah,
but he's got Drake, 2 Drakes, and 2 Wyoming kids. As far as
Yeah.
where they
and a
what they're-
JUCO kid too,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
I think he does. I did a little study of the Sweet 16,
5.
the top 5 minute guys for all the
Right.
Sweet 16 teams, and how many of them and where their first college.
Yeah.
How many of them are playing for the school that first recruited him?
Looks
You
like
said 37, right? You said
Yeah.
it was 50 last year and it's 37 this year?
There was 50 transfers last year, 37 this year, so 43.
43 are
Yeah.
playing for the only school
Yeah.
out of the 80,
80.
the top 5 minute guys for each of the 16.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Duke and Michigan State are the only team that have all 5.
Okay.
Tom Izzo.
And St. John's, Michigan, and Texas are the only ones that have none.
Rick Pitino.
Not
St. John's, Michigan,
And
new
Texas.
coach,
Yeah.
and Texas, new coach.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And
All
Pitino.
5 of those.
And Patino.
Actually, Iowa has
love
the
'em.
second most, so the only other one with 4. But new coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, Frank Bull is with us, the godfather of Kansas City sports. He's brought to you by our friends at Applause Custom Sight and Sound, Kansas City's best when it comes to in-home theater, smart home technology. Find them online at applausetheater.com.
The program with Soren Petro.
Gosh, I was such a reject in school. If only someone could have just stuffed food down the front of my pants, and I felt so much more important.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. All Weather Decks builds the best decks, patios, screened-in porches. Outdoor living spaces is what they do, and they've done it better than anybody for more than 15 years now. Locally owned and operated. They're a 24-time winner of the Angie Super Service Award, and they carry an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. What are you waiting for? The beautiful weather is here. Oh, we'll have some down days, but very soon we're going to have nothing but beautiful weather. And if you don't have a great screened-in porch to enjoy, nothing better than having dinner outside with the family on a screened-in porch. We love it. You'll love it as well. Do you have a place to grill? How about sitting out with a couple of Coronas, enjoying some time with family and friends, making some great memories? If you don't have a great place to enjoy outside, let All Weather Decks build it for you. Call 913-206-1974. They're only 6 or 7 weeks away from getting your project started. Basically, once they have the permits in hand, they're ready to go. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Tell them you want your great outdoor living space. Check out allweatherdecks.net for photos of finished projects, all the awards they've won, like that A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. You can also see the map link where they've done jobs all over the metro and even beyond what most people would call the metro. All Weather Decks is ready to build your project. Starting it sooner, finishing it faster, most importantly, building it better, no matter what you want. Whether it's a deck, a patio, screened-in porch, or all of it, All Weather Decks can get started in just about 6 or 7 weeks. So call 913-206-1974. Find them on the web at allweatherdecks.net. That's allweatherdecks.net, and relax.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Who was the last school to play in their home city in the Sweet 16, as Houston will do when the ball goes up in the air?
In their Sweet 16?
There have been 5 since 1970.
Since 70. The last one.
Actually, 4 schools. One did it twice. And who was the last one to do it?
In their home city.
Yeah.
Probably a pretty big market.
They'll play those.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, they there for a while. It was only the big arenas, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they've big stadiums.
Yeah.
And now they've come back down to doing arenas. I don't know where they playing. They're in the Reliant.
They're at the Toyota.
They
Or
are
what are
at
they
the
called?
Toyota?
Yeah. What are that's called now? I think it's still called that.
Geez, I don't know. I'll try.
Back 40 years.
Oh, God.
It's
It's back 40. I thought you said it happened like 16 times in the last.
It's
40.
happened. It's happened. I'm sorry, since 1970. I said it's happened 5 times since 70 by
Okay,
4
that's
different
40
schools.
40 years ago.
The
So
last one was exactly 40 years ago.
which would have been 86. So
It's
Louisville.
no, it's a school that is in a major market but isn't identified by that market necessarily.
Where's
KU?
No,
It's actually in a major city,
Well,
but people
the-
don't think about the fact that it's
Raleigh?
Well, the Final Four was Louisville, Duke, Kansas, and
86. I can't remember who else was there.
Louisville beat Duke, and Duke beat Kansas in the semis.
Yeah,
and I can't remember who Louisville beat in the.
I can't either. They didn't go to the
Wow,
Final
Georgia
Four.
Tech, Atlanta.
Georgia Tech.
Oh, okay.
Georgia Tech in Atlanta in 86.
I knew they were good then.
This is
Not so much
just in the
anymore.
Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Kentucky did it actually on their home court in 84 and 80. Utah did it in Salt Lake City in 81, and UCLA did it at Pauley Pavilion in 76.
Okay.
So it's been a while since someone's played on their home
Pauley
court.
Been a minute.
That's her
But
home
but it's
court.
still 40 years.
God's
The
sake.
first time in 40 years that a team has played in its home city in the Sweet 16.
All right, let's get to some frank opinions. Kay, where do we begin?
All right. I was looking up stats, and now I got to find out. Here we go. I was looking. I forgot. I lost my page. How many Final Four teams are still alive on your bracket?
Mine, I have
0 to 2.
I have 4.
I have all
0 to
4.
2, 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Everybody went chalk.
Number?
I'm going to go with 79%.
Woo! Lower.
90.8.
Come on.
Everybody
You're
went
lying
chalk,
out
Frank.
there.
Everybody went chalk. 3 or 4. If he'd said 4,
Lie.
we might have had something. But
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Cow.
Plus, exactly.
Lying.
You forgot to count 20% of bold-faced liars.
Yep.
I did.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
Non-top 4 seed with the best chance of going to the Final Four. St. John's, Tennessee, Iowa, Texas.
I'm going to say St. John's.
They have... Where's the bracket?
St. John's has Duke.
Duke.
Texas has
It
Purdue.
ain't going to be St. John's.
Iowa has Nebraska, and
Duke.
Tennessee
Iowa's-
has Iowa State.
Give what are my options again? Tennessee,
St. John's,
St. John's.
Iowa, Texas.
Texas has got...
Iowa State. Or Texas has got Purdue.
It's to go to the Final Four, so then
Yes.
they'd have to go on by... So everybody's got to go by somebody. And was one of them over here? No, Nebraska, I'll say, because Florida's out of the way.
And you said?
I said St. John's.
54% said St. John's.
What the...
20% said Tennessee.
You couldn't bother to look at a bracket, people, like I just did?
You morons. Why are you wrong all the time?
Thank you.
It's the Botox League.
I got you
Come
right. Which team had the more disappointing end of the season, Kansas or Missouri?
Oh, that's a great question because Missouri. You know what? I'll say Missouri. I'm going to say Missouri. Playing at St. Louis. I got Missouri.
Yeah, I'll say Missouri.
It's actually Kansas.
Oh.
Number?
60.
I'll wedge it in there, huh? 59.
54.7. What's the better strategy for Kansas? Top 5 recruit supported by decent players, or a trio of good players with no real weakness?
Trio of good players, no real weakness.
Yes.
Number?
67%.
68.
88.4.
Because we're so
They want the opposite
so
of what they
close
got.
yeah, exactly. So close.
This didn't
to the
work, so
end of
clearly the other will.
The other will.
Find something else. Will
That's it.
Bill Self be the head coach of Kansas basketball next season? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say no.
I'm going to say no.
Number?
Woo! How about that? I'll say 65.
64.
52.5. Let's broaden that question.
Okay.
Who will be the head coach of Kansas basketball next season? Bill Self, Jacques Vaughn, Jeremy Case, or current head coach elsewhere?
I'll say Jacques Vaughn. Just for
So it was 52, so 48% said that he'd be back. That would carry the day. I'll say Bill Self.
Bill Self, 42%, which is weird.
No, it's not, because 48% said that he'd be back.
Yeah, but why?
So they're basically being asked the same, well, I don't think he's leaving. So
Right. Why
the
would it be
6% that
47%?
jumped ship, I'd like to know where you went.
That was my point.
Okay. I thought you meant the fact that it won was weird.
Of the other
No,
two,
you won because you're playing me.
Of the other two,
Okay?
Jacques Vaughn, 28%.
That's why you're winning.
Current head coach elsewhere, 28% as well. Who are you rooting for in the Sweet Corn 16, Iowa or Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Why? No, Iowa. People don't like Nebraska around here.
Okay, Nebraska.
I mean, Nebraska fans do, but you're going to. Missouri fans don't like them. Kansas fans don't like them. K-State fans don't like them. They don't really have to mess with Iowa people.
Okay.
So what's the question? How'd you phrase it? I want to make sure.
Who are you
Which
rooting
one?
for?
They're rooting for Iowa.
It is right now 50-50. I'm going to see the first one that jumps wins. Because it is right at 50-50.
Come on, Iowa. Come on,
guys. Big red, big red, big red.
We'll check in on that one here. Whichever one gets the next vote
All right.
wins. Will a Kansas or Missouri player be featured in one shining moment? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh
always.
yeah, somebody will. Darren Pearson's going to be.
The answer is no. What's the number?
40.
I hate you.
But the answer is no. I'm sorry. So it has to be a 60. I was thinking.
Yeah.
In terms of the way we answered,
Yeah,
60
right.
is my.
Okay. I'll say 61.
56.7.
Doggone it! Almost over. Killed.
Still don't have a winner. 100 and come on, guys. Someone
Somebody
vote for
vote
Iowa or
Nebraska.
Wanna
Don't
get
even
this
say
done.
the other place.
Is Darren Peterson coming back? Yes or no?
No.
Coming back to Kansas?
Yes.
No.
I answered this
Was he
question.
even there?
No.
I asked this question for one reason. I wanted to see what percentage of people would say yes.
Okay.
No.
What percentage of people said yes?
So no, just no. What say we get the same thing? So
Yeah, but
stay
it's
with
more fun to say.
Okay.
More fun to say yes. What percentage of people believe he's coming back?
So the answer is
right.
no.
No,
So
we
it's going to be
realize
less than 50, obviously. So
I'll say 8%.
oh god, no lower.
5.7.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Still higher than I would imagine.
I would have thought it was like 2%. Who are you people? Who 5% of you like 1 in 20 don't pay attention.
Will Dennis Gates be the head coach at Missouri in the 27-28 season?
No.
No.
That is the correct answer. Number?
66%.
I'll say 67.
50.6.
Oh, I'm getting killed today.
50.6.
My math is
You got to go
off.
quick.
And we have a winner, Iowa.
Iowa?
Over Nebraska.
Thank you.
And
Another one for me.
Nope. That was the last one.
Another one bites the
8-2.
dust. Yeah, another one. 8-2.
We got just enough.
8-2. Boy, that's a whitewash.
Do I have to carry the points of whatever happened last week?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I won last week, too.
Oh, of course. What do we got? Where
All
we
right,
stand now?
Overall record 6-3 in favor of Soren. In the aggregate, Soren 73, Frank only 66.
Oh, there you go.
Starting to stretch it out a little bit, aren't you?
So Jack bombed it, huh?
He
Thanks, Jack.
tied with Frank last week.
Oh, he tied.
He did not.
Yeah, he did.
No. Frank won 8-5.
That's not what my records show.
Oh, wow. Oh, check the tape.
That's it.
Check
Cow.
the tape.
Cow.
What in the world,
Cow.
Soren? All right, what in the world, Frank? What do you got for
All
me?
right, just a little bit of a public service announcement here. Dolls sold at Cargo Largo may be contaminated with what?
Dolls?
Dolls, yeah. Barbie dolls.
Acid. I don't know.
Fentanyl.
Okay.
Yeah, don't buy those things. He was known as Walker the Texas Ranger and many other AKAs, also known as
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris
did not actually die. He just became bored with winning here on this planet.
It's beautiful. What's the average price of a gallon of gas now?
I mean, I don't ever even look at it because I'm like, I'm buying it, whatever it is.
Here it's cheaper than it is.
You mean nationally? On average, $4.50.
$4 a gallon. And what local down in the bottoms bridge is going to finally reopen on April 1st after being decades?
I don't know, something viaduct or something.
The Rock Island Bridge is going to be a family entertainment venue. It's opening on April 1st.
All right, among NCAA tournament head coaches, who scored the most career points in the NCAA tournament? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Second half of the program begins right now. We welcome Sam McDowell, columnist for your Kansas City Star. He joins us here in the program. Fresh off some fun travel. Certainly recommend it this time of year.
Fun times.
Get out there and see the world. Sam McDowell brought to you by our friends at All Weather Decks, Kansas City's best when it comes to building your outdoor living space. Listen, you can increase the usable square footage of your home, increase the value of your home with a new deck, a new patio. How about a screened-in porch? All Weather Decks builds Kansas City's best outdoor living spaces. That's why 24 times they won the Angie Super Service Award. Find them online at allweatherdecks.net. And relax. Sam, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Not bad. How was it getting back from San Diego?
It was better for me than the stories I'd heard about the rest of the media contingent coming back, but who cares about them? It worked out for me pretty well.
There you go. I like that. Well done. Well played. We're not worried about them.
Travel these days has become like such a selfish activity. Like it really is like an every person for themselves out there. And like I always joke with Vahe Gregorian or other columnists of the Star that you see the most selfish of humanity in like airport and airplane situations.
Give me an example.
Well, I mean, it's just like
it's a confession, or just
take up the space you want, cut in line if it's your turn in line. I mean, it's just like nobody's looking out for their fellow man out there.
And you see that as only happening in airports.
I see it most frequently in airports, I'll say.
Okay. I like the guy that I was behind today who apparently was eating his breakfast and couldn't control his vehicle because of it and was wandering amongst two lanes on a two-lane road. No, not me. I can eat a bowl of spaghetti and keep my car between the lines.
I've seen it.
That's not an issue. But I'm like, this fool wandering all over the place and not happy when people were honking at him. Somehow it was their fault.
Yeah, it's interrupting his meal.
Yeah, so,
now that one was you, though, right? The honking?
Oh, yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I was one of. I was not the only one. There were two lanes trying to advance, and this fool's wandering around like a drunken sailor, middle of War Parkway.
I only share this story because of something you just said.
Okay.
About 10 years ago, I was driving somewhere
Somehow
around
this is my
63rd.
fault, by the way.
No.
If the story sucks, it's my fault.
It's because there's a punchline to this. And I'm driving somewhere around 63rd and Truce or whatever, and I'm sitting at a light. I look over to the left of me, and there's a guy just sitting there. He's just looking ahead. We're both at the light, and suddenly his hand comes up with the fork. He's eating a bowl of spaghetti.
I know that's why I said a bowl of spaghetti, because I've heard this story before.
He just takes a big bite, lowers it down, and I'm just like, I don't know how you react. I'm like,
you say bravo, exactly.
Well done, sir.
Was he managing the vehicle?
Yeah, well, we were at a light.
Okay.
I assumed he took a big bite and light turned green. I was just like, I just see that?
Mm-hmm. You did.
I did.
You did. So, all right, so you made it back.
I made it back. Yeah, here I am.
Congratulations on that.
Appreciate it.
Tell me, what was your impression of KU's performance in San Diego?
Kind of how the previous month had gone for him, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
more of the same.
Darren Peterson inexplicably was not additive to what they already had a pretty good pulse going, and instead the rest of the group and the supporting cast just became lifeless around him for, I think it was at its extreme in the second half of St. Baptist, the last 10 minutes, and then they went a 19-minute and 30-second stretch when you date back to the second half of the St. Baptist game. They got a bucket with 9:56, but then the only non-Darren Peterson bucket for the last 9:56 of the Cal Baptist game was Trey White's dunk with 13 seconds left, which Cal Baptist just let him have because the game was over. They thought he was just going to run out the clock. And then their first non-Darren Peterson bucket in St. John's was El Marco Jackson's second attempt at a dunk with 10:13. That was a 19-minute and 36-second stretch where they had one bucket from someone besides Darren Peterson.
Wow. Well, the ball sticks. The ball sticks with him. I mean,
it does stick, but there's guys that just get out of that aren't playing. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys already knew, right, that the rest of the guys weren't giving them much outside, but 19. That's
An
almost
entire
a full half of basketball.
Yeah, essentially an entire half.
Where you got nothing out of it. They were 0 for 13 from 3 in the tournament at one point, the non-Darren Peterson group. And finally, I thought in St. John's game, Melvin Council was getting downhill more. But, we hadn't seen that.
Well, late in the St. John's game, everybody just went, well, I'm going one-on-one. It's the worst offense I've seen a Bill Self team run. I mean, it was Missouri-esque at times. I mean, that's what happens when the ball sticks, and that's the criticism of Harden and Westbrook, and they're up there and they'll get an assist if it's them getting denied at the rim and dropping it off to somebody on some help defense.
Yeah.
But the ball's got to move, and it doesn't move. It gets to him, and then he sizes it up.
Yeah.
And am I going to go right or left? And maybe I'll use the pick or maybe I won't. But there is no catch, flow, follow through. I'm going to run down through the lane, come off a screen. It's like I'm going to come out to get the ball where no one's bothering to guard me out here. I'm going to go one-on-one. And so what do you do if you're supposed to keep rotating? Well, do I rotate because Darren's going to be coming down the lane, or maybe he's going to go out to the wing? I don't know. Where do I go?
Yeah, and I think also there still could have been more action around him, too, in the sense that there's not really a lot of cuts in that offense. It's why I thought he should have gone to Cole Rosario earlier. And to be honest, it wasn't like I wasn't sitting there thinking you've got to go to Cole Rosario. I was thinking you've got to go to somebody different than what you're getting, because Bryson Tiller gave you nothing in that game. Trey White gave you nothing in that game until, what did he get, a bucket with a minute, a pretty key bucket, but it was 2.5 to go or something. And I just thought that get somebody out there who's unafraid to take a three and maybe could make one. So it was like Dawson or Rosario fits that, and then give you someone who gives you energy, and that also fits Rosario. So I know he's not a great defensive player, but I just thought you needed to change the vibe of the game in an earlier stage of the game. And by that time, it proved to be too late. I know they ended up tying the game, but and it's easy to look back and say now, well, look, I mean, you could have put the kid in 5 minutes earlier. But I think it's entirely reasonable to say change the vibe of the game in some way, because, to your point, it was stale offensively. St. John's didn't play great.
They got all the way down 14 before.
14, yeah, with about 9 to go.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, St. John's didn't play a great game.
No.
And they won anyway.
Which is some credit to Kansas's defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, their defense has been a top 10 to 15-ish on Ken Palm all year. They have played pretty good defense. Now, the issue is they haven't always rebounded the ball well. It's for the goose egg that we see on Bryson Tiller's box score, the part of his game that I think has annoyed Bill Self the most in postseason play, when you look back at why he benched him in the second half against Houston and then hit the 2 games in San Diego, are his lack of rebound and his lack of physicality to rebound. I think that's probably because St. John's, I mean, that's how they get a lot of their points, is they are an aggressive team on the offensive glass, which is similar to what they saw a lot in Big 12 too.
Teams in the NCAA tournament that shot as poorly as St. John's did in field goals, three-pointers, and free throws, all 3, had lost 19 straight, 48 of 49, and 72 of 74. That's how amazing it is that
it is amazing, but you're also putting their mark as the top mark, right?
Yes.
So
I raised it to the next percentage up higher, but not much
okay.
more. It was like 35 or below and 32 or below.
Almost everybody shot even worse than them.
But 19 straight 72 74.
It's still a great stat.
And what I wonder is, I don't have the statistics of how often a guy has the ball, how often Darren Peterson is controlling the ball to compare. But I guess if you could find that number and compare it to his assists per game, that's got to be one of the greatest ratios in college basketball. He averages 1.6 per assist. He essentially has the same number of assists per game as Flory Badunga and Elmarco Jackson.
Yeah, but somebody's got his shot.
And I'm saying, but as far as
but does he
pass?
But he doesn't. And here's my frustration. Somebody else brings the ball up, and then they spend the whole time trying to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And then it starts with him. Well, just have him bring the ball up.
Yeah, my guess
if
is
it's just gonna be a dribble drive offense initiated by him, then give him the ball when he dribbles up, and don't piss away 12 seconds trying to shake him loose and eventually catching the ball halfway to the jump circle.
Yeah, I thought against Cal Baptist specifically, I thought they could have done more of that. Against St. John's, I think this is the brilliance of the way St. John's played is you had to expend a lot of energy in the backcourt. If whoever was trying to
Patino's always
become,
done.
whoever was trying to become the guy who received the inbounds, I didn't think they wanted Darren Peterson wasting all of his energy.
Well, and I think that's it. I mean, there were times that I still was like, why? If you're just coming across and wanting to get the ball to him, there were other games I'm like, did we tell Melvin Council he'd be the point guard so he gets to dribble it across half court and that makes him feel better so then we can then give it to Peterson and he feels like but I do get that they're like, okay, we don't want him, breaking the press every time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so let's do it a different way. Okay, I get it, but I mean, like you said, how about this? You know what I like? Press him back.
Yeah.
Problem is you don't play anybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go to Cole Rosario. They don't go deeper on the bench. And it was the short prep too. It was day 2. It was the 2-day prep, but not the 5-day prep. If you had a 5-day prep, you might have been like, all right, get your act together because you're playing tonight, kid. You're getting 10, 12 minutes. You're getting 10, 12 minutes because we're going to go right back at them.
Yeah.
And we're going to make them press. I mean, nobody does that anymore because now I feel like every team is down to a 6 or 7 man rotation. Remember, the teams used to play a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Now everybody whittles down pretty quick to here's our 7 or 8.
Well, I think that's,
and now it's 6 or 7.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's become part of the product of NIL is because it used to be that your underclassmen sat and waited. But they played a little bit. They played 10 minutes a night. They played 12 minutes a night. And instead, they feel like they can get a starting opportunity somewhere else, or they can play more somewhere else. Or if you're my 8th man, I can't pay the 8th guy, and someone else can pay him as their 5th guy or their 4th guy. And so I think that's one. I mean, look at the injuries you saw in the Big 12 this year, for example. I mean, BYU was decimated by their 2nd or 3rd best player getting hurt. Well, it's because they played their starters an inordinate amount. Texas Tech played surprisingly well for a little bit without Toppin, but again, not a team that played its bench a ton. Like a lot of the top
Iowa
teams
State will be certainly
not.
Challenged.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
Being
with Jefferson.
Depends on there's some hope that he might be able to play a little
not
bit.
a lot of. My point is not a lot of the top teams don't have a deep bench.
Which I get it when it's Jerry McNamara and Siena, because you're getting rated.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Extreme. Yeah.
There's no excuse to not have some depth at the highest level.
Well, I think look, the excuse and reason becomes like a gray, but
the excuse became we were given $8 million to spend and we couldn't hold our water on who we spent on, and we ran out of money 7 deep.
Well, I think it's actually the fact that they weren't patient enough to allow guys to develop into those roles.
Well, that's always been a problem of Bill Self's.
It is, and I think part of that is actually derived from the fact that do you need to play more buy me games? Do you need to play more games where you can allow like these? There's not the fear of losing. Like KU's schedule this year was ridiculous, and they were often in a game to where it was like you're going to need to play your 7. You can't afford to give this guy 12 minutes who was in high school 2 months ago and doesn't have major game experience. And I wonder if maybe KU looking back would have preferred to play, even if it's just like 3 more of the easier games at home.
Wait a minute. Wait. Dennis Gates.
Well, I don't think you should play 15.
Has got to start scheduling somebody, but Kansas better knock this crap off.
I just think you could.
I know what you're saying. There's a happy medium.
Like because or be willing to lose one of those other games.
That's
for the sake of looking at the long term, and therefore Cole Rosario doesn't get benched early in the year, and you don't he becomes a ghost on your bench, or like the big man Paul.
Yeah.
He has like. All of a sudden he's playing the most he's ever played in the tournament. And it's like, wouldn't it have been great if he had played a little bit more over the course of the regular season to where this role was a little bit more natural to him? And look, I thought he played pretty well in the tournament. But
I had some people that had seen practice that know basketball tell me that kid's a player. And then he didn't play. Cole Rosario,
You're going to have to stick through his mistakes.
Exactly, and John Calipari does that. And that's why they come out and people are like, oh, no, John Calipari's kind of disappointing. And all of a sudden here they come down the stretch and they're finding themselves and they're playing their best ball. I mean, it hasn't – Calipari hadn't had an undefeated season lately, and Kentucky grew weary of the coming in as an 8 or a 9, and then he flopped when he did get a really good team, and St. Joseph beat him, and they were done with him. But, I mean, for what Kansas did, of their teams that made – the tournament that they played in the non-con, they played Missouri. They beat Missouri, NC State, and is that it? And Tennessee. And they lost to UConn, Duke, and North Carolina. So it wasn't like it was flawless anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But, look at starting November 18th. You play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight Power 4 teams. I guess technically UConn, but they're a top. I mean,
they're a power team. I count
the top 5 team. Then you play 2 of those games I'm talking about. You play Towson, and I guess Davidson's one of those. But among those types of games, they're usually upper echelon. Then you're in the conference play. And so you've gone like a 10-game stretch where you played back-to-back in those games, but those are also your conference tune-ups to where it's like you need them for a different reason now. And I just wonder if maybe it goes a little bit more back and forth. And I am certainly not at all advocating that their schedule resembles what Missouri's schedule was.
Against Davidson, which they won by 29 points, 8 guys played more than 3 minutes. McDowell was in the starting lineup with Badunga, Tiller, Council, and White. No Darren Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson wasn't in that game. Yeah.
Elmarco Jackson, Jaden Dawson, and Cole Rosario. So you've got a chance to play Mbia, but you don't play him, right? By the way, Cole Rosario had 13 in that game. Then in the game against, or maybe this one was first, in the game against Towson, again, no Darren Peterson. And they have, in that one, 9 guys played more than 4 minutes. You had McDowell, White, Council, Tiller, Badunga in the starting lineup. Calderon played 14. Rosario, 17. Dawson, 15. And Elmarco Jackson, 23. So,
But
I don't know.
Paul Mbia played 4 minutes in that game.
I know. I don't get it.
And
he's 6'11". He's long. What do you care if he fouls out? Good. Learn.
Right. I mean, he fouled 4 times in the St. John's game. All of a sudden, you look up and you're like, they announced it 4 fouls. It's like 4 fouls. But, and look, I mean, this is like grading KU these days has become what grading the Chiefs is. Like they've set their own bar, and that bar's ridiculously high. I mean, we're talking about a team that, on a quote unquote year where they didn't exactly look like Kansas, they were still a 4 seed, and they're still, a game-winning play away from reaching the Sweet 16. But the difference in college now is this is, like I said, I do think some of it is a product of the new era. And how do you adjust to the fact that your 7th, 8th, 9th guys are not top 50 freshmen that came in and you can count on being really good as juniors and seniors and playing a little bit more as sophomores. But that's where, to me, Cole Rosario did fit, and I think they kind of lost him.
I think there should have been, if you wanted to play big, there should have been 8 to 10, 8 to 12 minutes a game for Mbia.
Yeah,
and they're the same for Rosario.
If you wanted to play big, I didn't think they had to either.
No, and if you don't, then those minutes should go to Rosario.
Yeah, but you did get good minutes there. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, it just felt as like a symbolic ending, I thought, for KU, because of the fact you didn't get much for everyone else. Then you get back in the game, you're tied in the game. You could not have blown the other 14 seconds in like a more obvious way, I thought, than the way KU blew their fouls to give late too.
Rosario obviously fouled early, way too early.
I mean, 1 point. On the first 2 fouls.
Did you like the idea but not the execution of it, or?
Yeah, well, they only heard foul. They didn't hear foul when he gets to half court.
No,
he's going to whittle down 10 seconds.
I mean,
this thing.
part of the thing about the
Oh,
tournament.
you
is-
may have heard it. They did not consume it.
Yes, they didn't consume it.
Yeah.
Because you could hear Bill Self scream.
No, I know Bill Self said it, but they didn't hear it.
Yeah, after Rosario's foul, it was, guys, make him take some time. And then what's striking, though, about the first two fouls, which take a combined 2.8 seconds, is the first one, they have the guy trapped. Like, make the refs call it. Try and get a turnover there first. It's not just about wasting time. Like, the fouls to give don't just give you the opportunity to waste time. It gives you freedom to try to be more aggressive to get the steal and make the refs call it. Instead, it's an intentional foul, 1.8 seconds. Then, so you've got a good position. You only get 1.8 seconds. And then as the defense, you're in another good position because they have to throw it in to Zubi Ejiofor, their post player. And he's in the back court. And he's kind of looking around like, I don't know where I'm going to go with this. And then Trey White just comes over and fouls him and bails him out. 1.8 seconds. The next two take like 4 or 5 and then 2-9. Let's say those first two are just even resemble, and that's when they had finally gotten the message. Okay, it can't be so quick. And let's say it just takes the 2-9. I'm taking the shorter one of the two when they finally get the message and then execute it properly. If those first two take 2-9 each, that's 5-8 total. It took 2-8 total. That's 3 seconds. And suddenly that last play becomes a heave and not like a layup. Or the other, I think the other alternative that I don't know that they did consider was just stick with 5 fouls. Because I thought, and this is going to sound like giving a player an excuse who played really bad defense in the last play, although I think there's more at fault than Elmarco.
Have one more in your pocket so that if you have to be aggressive, I'm not beat, let me get him now.
Yes, I thought Elmarco Jackson looked scared to foul on that.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I think he should have had help from Flory on that play. I think he could have had help from Darren
Peterson
on that play. But I think he could have also had help from the potential of fouling. And, you know, I mean, look, at that point they're getting the ball into the basket. It's not an ideal situation, but it is an out. And they didn't give themselves that out with the way they executed that. And
I think he may have left a foul if they hadn't done such a poor job of fouling early. And I also think you got to look back and say, okay, Bill Self, he immediately had the strategy. He knew what he wanted to do.
Screaming it. I mean, I could hear him from the other. I was across from the KU bench, and you could hear him saying, Trey, make him take some clock.
Yeah. My wonderment is, have they spent all year recreating what they are with and without Peterson to where he could not use time and practice 100%. To get to the nuances of the game?
Yes. I mean,
even in game, he can't start talking situation because he's still trying to be like, listen, when we're running this, you got to go do this and you got to do that instead of, all right, we're looking good. We're going to keep with that. Now, remember, when we get to here, we're going to, like, I think that there's a lot of things that he would have normally gotten to that he just couldn't get to with this team.
Totally agree. And I even asked him after the game, I said, can you speak to the uniqueness?
You were the guy asking the question that he didn't turn his head sideways and look like,
no, that's not it. By the way, he handled that one pretty well. But I just asked him about what's the uniqueness of, can you speak to the uniqueness of the season and the fact that you weren't really a whole team until a month before the postseason and how that affects your rhythm. And he said, I don't think we ever got into a rhythm offensively this year.
I agree.
I thought that KU did look like a team that was playing in early December.
From a philosophical standpoint, how much of it, because I know a lot of fans now, I mean, Twitter polls are not scientific, but a lot of you KU fans.
They actually are.
Well, they're
not in depth.
Yeah, it's hard to be scientific. I mean, I can't control who answers, so it lacks some accuracy. But maybe it's recency bias. I'm sure a lot of Kansas fans were like, "No more one and done guys. Let's get the Frank Masons and the Devontae Grahams and do that." How much is this season an example of that idea, or they just had the wrong guy? Is this going to scare them off or anybody else off from going and getting that great player? Was this year, to break it back down and better, was the problem of this year that they had one great guy and a bunch of other guys, or was it a guy who just couldn't stay on the court and couldn't become a cohesive unit with?
Yeah, so
I think his greatness is overrated.
Yeah,
for one.
Yeah, but I think the crux of what KU needs to realize from the last 2 years, because they went the opposite way last year. They were the most experienced Division I team in the country last year. This year they built everything around a freshman phenom. I mean, this is the inverse of what they did a year ago. Both did not get them to the second weekend. And by the way, they were not favored to get to the second weekend because St. John's was favored over them. I think to me, it's almost become like a soccer construction of your roster, which is like you've got to find the best mix, the guys who complement one another the best. Because to Soren's point, when KU played this year, it was Darren Peterson and four guys watching them play. And last year, it was very clear that that group just did not fit. Like, you needed to surround Hunter Dickinson with shooters, and they didn't have them. But KU has never taken a high volume of three-pointers. And I described it this way in my column after the game is, the rest of the nation has sort of relied on two easy buttons. Shoot a lot of threes. And I really think that's one of the reasons there's not as many upsets this year anymore in the tournament is the good teams are now shooting a lot of threes too. The most athletic teams are shooting a lot of threes. And then it's dunks and layups. And for 3 years now, KU doesn't shoot a lot of threes. They don't get a ton of dunks and layups. And so, that's what other teams go to. And, KU has been dependent on its defense, which has been good. But they haven't had the easy button that I think some other teams have had. And I think part of that is just getting the right mix together and getting open shots because the guys look like they're really comfortable playing together.
I'd be curious how much Darren Peterson was the competitor that they thought he was. Did they know? Because I'm sure he's not even in Lawrence right now, to be honest with you.
He says he doesn't know if he's coming back.
Yeah, okay. That's funny.
By the way, I was saying this after the game. You had two people who said they didn't know if they were coming back.
Bill Self
and the vastly different reactions to the two.
Yes. But he was not living and dying with every play. I mean, this was just an extension. To me, this is what it looked like. And Kansas fans can shout me down, and I'll defer to you if you were in those practices and do it. If Brian Haney or Greg Gurley or Bill Self or anyone that's much closer to the program than I am, but would know better. But there are kids. I've known some of the kids that have played for some of the local schools, and I know that they would sit and cry their eyes out after a regular season loss. Losing just ate them up. It looked to me like when you go out and watch these AAU tournaments. Yeah, my team lost. Yeah, I went for 36, and coach saw me. I mean, I was getting it done. I was out there to showcase me. This felt like all along he was out there to showcase him, and it was not about the game situation or we got to go now or here it is. It was, I got to just showcase my skills and set myself up for the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say I had heard over the summer a year ago that he was a unique talent, that, his skill set was going to make him just heads and shoulders better than what they had, but that his personality was not necessarily going to be the leader in the locker room.
Bill Self seems to attract those. His other or at least top dog recruit was Andrew Wiggins, and he was the same thing. He was detached. I mean, I don't know if it's because Bill Self has so much personality that he fills the room. Although I think Acuff has personality, I think Calipari has too much. I think Calipari starts to wear you out. Like, enough, slow down. But he manages to attract an Acuff and a Wall and those type of guys to Kentucky.
I wonder what an NBA scout would tell you about the meaning of that, for example. I think it means something to the viewer because I could see being a fan, for example, in that game and being like, do you care as much about this as I do? Just because of the visual of it. Just purely I'm talking about the visual gives off a certain perception. I don't know how much that does affect play.
I believe that there are two players that come to mind when I watch him. His game is James Harden, and his approach is Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
he seems detached, and I really believe, and I say this saying health professionals and psychology people, I defer to you. I believe that Kawhi Leonard is on the spectrum, and I don't believe he engages the way other players do. And I will not be surprised if that is what someone tells us one day about Darren Peterson. He just is like Melvin Council. Like, had Darren Peterson played in that game against Arizona, he'd have been in the locker room while everybody else was running around interacting with the fans. He'd have been in the shower. Like there is not that. This is the moment. Soak it in. Here we are. It's like, okay, we're done. On to the next thing. Did you see when the game ended?
Well, he was the last player off the court.
Was he? Okay.
But I think, regardless, because I know what you would frame that as. I'm not a psychologist and whatnot, but I think regardless of like the accuracy, like of how a psychologist would perceive the situation, those are the types of things that he's going to have to answer when the NBA team, like those are the questions that the NBA teams are going to ask is, how much do you want this? What is your investment in this?
Because we have a schedule.
Let me ask you a question. Does DeBonsa want it?
Being on the floor at the Big 12 tournament and then being on the floor for KU, and I was on the floor just for the BYU games at the Big 12 tournament, and then sitting on the floor for this, much different personalities for sure.
So he wants it
on the court.
Does he want it?
He's much more vocal on the court.
So he wants it.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm looking for a yes or no.
Well, that's what I said earlier, though. I don't know how much that does translate.
But in your opinion, does he want it more?
I think it comes across that way.
Does Acuff want it more?
I haven't seen him at the same level, same frequency, but yeah.
He walked in a walking boot and played.
Yeah.
Does Cam Boozer want it more?
Again, I haven't seen him at the same frequency, but he appears to have more emotion while playing.
I'm not saying Darren Peterson should go 4, but it's not going to shock me if he does go 4, because I think all three of those guys, an organization, a coaching staff, will look at it and go, I feel like those three will give me everything they have. Yeah. And if my job is riding on it, I want someone who's going to give me everything they got, and those three will give it to me. I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, when you do sit up close, and you don't at Allen Fieldhouse with the media, you're up in the corner. So when you do, this is exactly one of the things you're watching for frequently. Like I constantly, when a big play happens, I'm staring at his reaction to it, and because he's constantly the guy who's involved in a big play. I saw him react twice in the tournament. Once was after he made back-to-back threes in the second half against Cal Baptist, because the crowd was letting him hear it a little bit. That crowd with Cal Baptist, predictably, Kurtis, you had said this week, I mean, 90 minutes from campus, they brought a student section there. I mean, it was a pro-Cal Baptist crowd. And then you had all the neutrals who can sense something happening late in that game. And he just looked up and just kind of quietly said, come on, after he made the second one. Very similar reaction after he had an and one late in the game against St. John's in the second half. But that was, he was on the floor. And so his teammates were fired up as they came to help him off the floor. And similar thing where he nodded his head and said, come on. And not loudly enough for me to hear it, but just could read his lips. And those were basically the two moments where I could see him react.
Because he's quiet doesn't mean he doesn't care. I want to be clear.
That's what I'm saying. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Is I don't know what this effect is on your game at all, but that's why I kept using the word visibly. A.J. DeBonsa's more visibly emotionally into the game. It doesn't mean he's not into the game. Because I do think Darren Peterson also has a basketball awareness, too. He's not checked out of a game.
He's a savant on that
There's a couple times where he had a rebound, for example, against St. John's off in the corner, where he could sense the deflection that was going to come and where the ball was going to be deflected on a free throw rebound. And he was the first guy there both times. And I kind of thought, I wonder why you thought that's where the ball would end up with rather than just jogging down the court like he could have.
I want to be clear, just because you take a bat to the toilet in the dugout doesn't mean you care more than everybody, right? So it's not just about
I've apologized for that several times.
Yeah. We'll take a break. More with Sam McDowell here in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
Good, yeah, embrace it. What else you going to do, man?
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. Our friends at Applause Custom Sight and Sound are Kansas City's best when it comes to building smart home technology, when it comes to building your in-home theater. Applause has been doing it for more than 20 years. Locally owned and operated, they're the best when it comes to technology, but they're also the best when it comes to craftsmanship. Yes, that's right. Applause Custom Sight and Sound. Whether you're building new, renovating your home, when the walls are opened up, that's easier. But even if your home or office is done, they can wire everything. They can set up everything they need without tearing everything apart. They're experts at it. Listen, most companies don't even last 2 years in this business. They're more than 2 decades. Like I said, locally owned and operated, Applause Custom Sight and Sound is on the cutting edge of technology. They're on the cutting edge of craftsmanship. They're also on the cutting edge of customer service. That matters. Trust me, Applause Custom Sight and Sound has been in my home for more than 20 years. If you're ready for, an in-home theater, if you're ready for Rocket Fast Wi-Fi, everything integrated, maybe Rocket Fast Wi-Fi even outside your home. How about security and surveillance? All integrated, all easy to use right there on the touchscreen, right there on your smartphone. Call 913-498-1183. That's 913-498-1183. You can find them on the web at applausetheater.com. Kansas City's best is Applause Custom Sight and Sound. Online at applausetheater.com.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see
Good selection. All right, the La Fena Delicatessen, end of the hour answer among all-time NCAA tournament head coaches. Who scored the most career points in the NCAA tournament?
So, tournament, just a coach that coached in the tournament, even for just one game.
Even for one game. Head coach of the NCAA tournament for one game.
Jerry McNamara.
No. Billy Donovan's probably up over McNamara even, and I'll bet he's not even close. There's probably some. Oh, well, Dan Manning's been in there. That's a pretty good number.
Danny Manning.
Thank you.
328.
I'm going to clarify. I thought you were talking about this tournament.
Oh, no. That's why I said among all time NCAA.
Oh, okay.
Among all time.
I thought it was who had scored the most points all time among this year's
who would it be?
John Shire?
Shire or McNamara?
Fred Hoiberg?
Hoiberg, yeah, those would be all candidates.
Just that McNamara
played
a lot of games.
Yeah, he did. He
so
started all 4 years, and they all three of those guys would be good choices. Anybody else? Is there anyone we're missing?
I'll look. Actually, I've got a.
There's a Louisville guy was coaching Kennesaw State, wasn't he? Wasn't there an old Louisville player coaching?
I mean, Hubert probably scored a decent amount, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
Was he really in the tournament,
That's a good assignment.
This year? Seemed like he checked out, didn't it?
Well, interesting.
You'll blow a 19-point second half lead. It's not advised.
Not advised? No, it's not good.
It's kind of bizarre with the Hubert Davis thing. That was like, how many days are they considering firing him?
Oh,
it seems like this is an eternity in the sports world for a report to come out. What is it, like 4 days ago that they're considering firing
My
him?
assumption is that
They're
they've
still considering
decided
it?
we're going to stay the course.
Or they're decided. I mean, I think part of the thing this year, and I think one of the lessons from Kentucky's search a few years ago is what's out there, because the dynamics of the weight that tradition and foundation of a program has is still something, but it's not what it was.
Right. So what does that mean if Bill Self says I'm out?
Yeah, I think that some people that you think might be interested might not be, even though I think KU's a terrific job. I mean, terrific fan base, terrific foundation, hard act to follow.
Conference tournament in your backyard helps.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great things about it, but that used to be, everything we just mentioned used to be the priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's what's your NIL, and, I mean, that's the most pressing question that didn't even used to exist as a question in that conversation.
When should Bill Self have an answer for Kansas? When? How long should it take him? In your mind, what's acceptable? What's
next week or so? I think.
Ideally, I'd like to know.
Week.
I said if I'm Goff, ideally I'd like to know by the end of the week.
Yeah.
And
they'd maybe give him the weekend and like Monday.
If we get to the tournament ending, he better know the next day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that would be late.
Otherwise, you're putting him in a spot.
The portal opens.
Unless your goal is to dance this dance all the way into the summer and just make it so that they have to hire Jacques Vaughn or Jeremy Case.
Right.
Which I don't think Bill Self would do things that way.
I don't either. I think he'll come to a decision.
That's a Bruce Pearl type of thing.
I think, look, if I'm sitting here next to a week from now, I think we'll know by then.
Okay. If he says I'm out, 5 calls. Who's Travis Goff needing to be calling?
So if I could just get to call anyone without knowing whether or not they
First 5 calls
they
we'll
said yes. Lloyd, May, Otzenberger, I think are probably
Otzelberger at Iowa State.
Yeah, TJ.
Okay.
I think those are.
By the way,
three most
for Gary the
obvious
fireman,
ones.
I'm getting texts from my Iowa State friends saying you are pushing for TJ to Larryville. Wash that evil from your lips. Oss has told him that I don't know what that means. So she wants her kids raised in Ames, Iowa. So I honestly don't think you will leave. By one of our buddies is a big Iowa State guy.
First of all,
I am not pushing.
If the fan,
I said I would call.
The fan base.
And by the way, it's Thunderdome the intern who threw that one out there.
Uh-huh.
By the way, if the fan base is pissed about losing their guys, it signals even more you should call.
Exactly.
Especially that pissed.
Would you be upset that there would be a guy at Kansas games that wears a shirt smaller than you?
No. Why?
No, I didn't know if that bothered you. We said it'd be amazing that
so.
they'd have a coach that wears the same size shirt as you. Just wear it very differently.
Yeah, he wears it differently than I do.
Yeah.
But, I think those are the 3. I mean, and those level of interest, I don't know. I think back in the day, you would think you'd feel pretty good about getting one of those 3. The other thing is to me, it'll be viewed as it's a hard act to follow, completely accurate. First of all, Bill Self had a very hard act to follow 23 years ago.
But he did it and trumped it.
You're right. But that's actually a good thing because it means the floor and is in a certain spot.
Floor is high,
yeah. And so I know that comes with more pressure for whoever's there, but it also means the job is inherently better.
Well, I think what you got to figure out if you're Travis Goff is do I have the money to go dangle a big fat budget, or do I need to go find a prospect at least while I'm finishing this stadium build? I mean, that's a big part of the equation.
Borrow.
Ooh,
I'm talking about borrowing from one project to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt what's king there.
Get rid of the bathrooms at the football stadium, you're saying?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Don't do anything with anything in the media area, but anywhere else.
More with Sam McDowell next. Any thoughts on the ending of the year for Mizzou? Besides predictable?
I guess, similar to KU, their last 3 weeks had telegraphed the way they were headed. I mean, I think my main thought about them is the last 3 years combined. I mean, 1-13 in March. Like, you've got to figure out why, as the rest of the country is getting better, the more information you have about your team has not been a beneficial thing.
It's freaking bizarro world. I said it earlier. Most teams, when you get a guy back, all right, we got to assimilate everything. They take a step back and then take 2 steps forward later. Mizzou instantly gets better and then starts. And then it's diminishing returns after about 3 games.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I think it was predictable that some team was going to do everything that they could to take away Mark Mitchell, and you're going to find a different way. Stone had a pretty good game.
Yeah,
but it's still
they still don't really have. I mean, the fact that they had to use Robinson because Theo Barrett couldn't tell when they were changing defenses. That's something you might want to work out by your sophomore year, which is coming up.
I will say so. My actual takeaway from the entire picture that night was pretty bad press conference from Dennis Gates, and I think you should always
nobody could have done a better job than what I did this year. Are you kidding me? With that statement?
That followed him talking about how hard he was on himself.
Yeah.
And then, hey, no one could have done the job that I did this year.
Yeah.
But then also,
I think Bill Self could have done that job.
He cycled between saying that the season he blamed the media before the media had even ran anything and said, I know you guys in the headlines is probably going to call this year a failure. But then later
he called it a failure.
He calls it a failure for not winning a national championship, which sounds like a cute thing to say. Actually, he first said that. He first calls it a failure for saying they didn't win a national championship, which to me is just a cute thing to say.
It becomes cliche, like when Gary Pinkel every time would be like, "Well, I got to coach better."
Yeah,
like,
it's a total cliche. But then later he says, "I'm sure the headlines are going to say it's a failure." It's like, my guy, you just said it.
The quote.
You just said it.
We will. It'll have quotations around it because you said it. And then Jacob Cruz later, he kind of tried to pull it back, said, "Oh, that they just wanted it more than we did."
Yeah, but I also don't know the accuracy of that versus a kid that doesn't exactly know what to say. And
that's fair.
The coach should know what to say.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hate just focusing on a press conference after NCAA tournament loss, but that one stuck out. I think if you're a regular follower or even a donor, probably rubbed you the wrong way.
I got to coach better from Gary Pinkel. He said it all the time, but he also meant it, and he always would take it to heart. That sounds a lot better than nobody could have done a better job.
Nobody could have done this,
Not good.
Right.
Sam, I'll see you on the Red Golden Bowl tonight.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, how many different programs have appeared in at least 7 consecutive Sweet 16s? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong here on a Tuesday. Still to come, the great Gary Parrish talking some more college basketball with you. Time now, however, to give you the things that you need to know. You may not want to know these things. You need to know these things.
Need.
That's the important part.
We care. We like want, but need's more important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'll find out that what you need is what you want. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
Oh, wow.
I did not think I was going to do that when this segment began, but it was there. I had to take the shot.
Now, Mick's proud of you.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Brad Underwood. You know, he's a K-State alum.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be coaching Illinois. He's going to be coaching Illinois in Houston, playing the Houston Cougars. Is that fair?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, a team who's not a 1 seed or 2, they probably shouldn't be home for their own regional.
Okay.
But
we're trying to sell tickets here, Kurtis.
Yeah, but I've always told people, I said this last week when the brackets first came out and Missouri was in St. Louis, and they should have sent. I was like, if you think you can do this better, if you put 68 teams or 64 teams into 8 regions or 8 sites without it, while following all the restrictions they have for who can play who in the conference games in the first 2 rounds, you do that and not have one mistake like that. It's impossible. Every year someone has that happen to them. Cal Baptist was 90 minutes away from their place, and Kansas has to go halfway across the country. It happens. It might be a little bit easier to avoid that in the Sweet 16 by figuring out, okay, we know Houston's in this region. Let's not put them as the 2 in that region. That would have been a lot easier to prevent, but there they are.
Mm-hmm. So no whining?
Nah.
Okay. Let's hear what Brad Underwood had to say. The head coach of the Illini says it won't be a factor.
I don't give 2 rips about it, to be honest. That's for all you guys to talk about, and all the I guess it's a conversation piece and it's a question I'm getting a lot. But you know what? The Illini Nation will show up. Mm-hmm. There's 2 other Big Ten teams there. I hope they cheer for us. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you got to play great to win. We'll play in Africa. We'll play them wherever. It doesn't matter. And it's just one of those deals that it worked out that way. And if we beat them, it'll be because we played better. If they beat us, it'll be because they played better. It won't be the crowd.
I don't think they have any plans to play it in Africa.
No, but you get his point.
Absolutely.
Refreshing to hear him.
Yeah.
Not
give
whining and moaning about it. He's not going to give his team an excuse coming out of the gates.
Yep.
Like, why would you it sucks. I think it's ridiculous. Exactly. We shouldn't be here. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, it's not going well. Well, they got all the crowd.
As opposed to...
You're not going to listen to that in his huddle.
Yeah, as opposed to someone else who...
We'll get to in a minute.
We'll get to.
Brad Underwood was asked why the Big Ten hasn't had a national champion since 2000.
You look at the teams in the Sweet 16 that we've played. The Big Ten is loaded. The Big Ten's old. Last year it was a freshman-dominated league. And I think everything goes in cycles. But, you start looking and you start seeing the success of teams, and they're old, they're veterans. The league has great guard play this year. The best it's had since I've been in the league. There's a lot of size in the league. And it's only one team's going to win. We've been to the Final Four. Teams have been to the Final Four out of the Big Ten a bunch. You just got to keep knocking on the door, and your time will come. But this year is exceptional. It was extremely difficult, no matter who you played, to go on the road and get a win in this league. Great coaching, great players, and this year was exceptionally tough.
Has he been to the Final Four with Illinois?
No.
Okay, he just meant we as a league, the Big Ten. Okay.
Purdue 2 years ago. Michigan State's been, I think, 6 times since 2001. I was just looking at Michigan a couple of times, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Illinois, Indiana.
Yeah, so Illinois lost the championship game to Roy.
But Purdue lost it 2 years ago. So there have been a handful, but no title.
Yeah. I think it's more anomaly than anything. I'm sure there is an element of they've been focusing on football too much.
Yeah.
But I think they'll probably win 3 out of the next 6 and be like, okay, You know how it's long it's been since the SEC, or how since the Big 12 has won it?
The
It's been
SEC
10 years.
had 7 teams in the Sweet 16 last year.
Yeah. Well, the Big Ten's got 6. And they had the champion last year, SEC.
SEC's got 4, but none of them are heavies.
Kurtis wants to throw, my Syracuse coach under the bus.
No, just struck the distinction. And I hadn't thought about the distinction of that clip until I heard in the context with the clip from Brad Underwood, which was just the other way around.
Syracuse, the ladies' team, was blown up yesterday.
31-0 run will do that to you.
Yeah, what was the final? 90-something to 40-something?
Yeah, 95-49. But the UConn called off the Dogs. It was at one point after the 31. It was
like 60-something to 15, wasn't
it? Yeah, after the 31-0 run, it was 53-8, and it was 65-12 at the half. And then they played pretty much even Steven the rest of the way. I think Gino called off the Dogs. Literally.
That's the kind of score you get when you're coaching the Little Tykes, and it's the first year of the Steel.
Yeah.
And one team's got some kids with some want-to, and the other team don't.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like.
Or as I've seen some scores in some of the high school, if you get a lower level, state girls basketball tournament, there's one team that just blows everyone away. You get some 65-12 scores, but not in Division I college basketball usually.
Felicia Leggett-Jack, the head coach of the Syracuse Orange, is tired of taking her teams to Storrs, Connecticut in March.
To continuously have to come to UConn in every single school that I go to is unfair to the young people. I don't know what it is. Somebody said, is there something that they might have against me? If that's the case, then we need to communicate about that. But for us to be what we've done in our body of work, to have to come and play that best team in the country. I mean, Gino has this thing going, and he is, I love what he's done, but I thought deserved a little more respect after being in this business for 37 years, and to have to come and be in this particular bracket every freaking year is unacceptable, is wrong. If you're on the committee and you've been around for more than a year or 2 or 5 to 10 or 15 years, you understand what that looks like. I've been on those committees to see how it's done, how you can put people on different lines, put us on a 10 line, whatever. But for us to continue to come to Connecticut year after year after year is, to me, it's a personal attack.
I looked at numbers. They played last time they were in the tournament was 2 years ago. They had to go through Storrs, and they lost a pretty competitive game. The last time they were before that she wasn't there. She was still in Buffalo, but the coach then, Quentin Hillsman, had to go through Connecticut. So the last 3 times Syracuse has played in the second round, they've lost at Connecticut. But, her last trip at Buffalo in 19 was also at Connecticut, and they lost by 12.
Well, let's get them off campus.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what they're doing. They're wanting to sell tickets. Then you're going to reward the team that has the best season. I get it. But, I mean, aren't we at a point?
Should.
Like, to me, even if you're going to smaller buildings, okay, so you don't have to go to the United Center in Chicago. Go play at any one of a number of, if you go to Vegas, don't play where the Knights play, and it's, 19,000, 20,000. Play either at the Orleans or play at, over at the the big white hotel down on the end where the Aces play. What the hell is that one? You want to say the Aladdin? It's not the Aladdin.
Not Mirage.
No. Now down on the south end, all the way down, all the way past the Luxor. It's across from the airport, across from the landing strip. What the hell is that called? I did shows there. For a year.
Mandalay Bay.
Mandalay Bay. Go down to the Mandalay Bay. They've got an 8,000 seat arena, and play it there. Just get off campus. I'd like to see that happen, but I don't like hearing this. But my assumption is, okay, I want to underscore this and draw attention to the fact that this is happening.
Yeah.
And so next time when they're like, oh, it just so happens that the line has this, look at that. Syracuse, well, we better not do it again or we're really going to. I mean, to me, this is her working the refs.
Yeah. And she said
she's a very veteran coach.
Yeah.
She's been a head coach since 2003.
She's been in Indiana.
Hofstra, Indiana, Buffalo, and now Syracuse.
Yeah, she's had 37 years. And that was a clip of about minute 15 of a nearly 3-minute answer. And it was her opening statement after the game. At one point, she began that by saying, I want to be able to, I'm thankful for being able to do this, but, I want to have to say something here. When I tell my players to woman up, I need to do it too. And that was her kind of doing that, standing up for her players, standing up for her program.
Well, you're standing up by going like, we shouldn't have to go play a good team because we can't win.
I think she felt like she was defending them, but
she does.
It may not be the best move, but
my hope is, and I'll be happy to hear somebody be like, she's just a whiner. I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, if she didn't coach my team, I might be saying that too. But I think it's an example of her working the room, working the committee.
Yep.
Don't do this again. I just wanted to underscore so that everybody nationally knows. I have had to go because she had to go play him at Buffalo too. When she was at Buffalo, she had to go. Syracuse has had to go there 3 times.
Yeah.
And they do it more regionalized, but come on. I think we're at a point with the women's sports we can go ahead and run the show the way it needs to be run.
And this UConn team, I was looking at their SRS rating on reference. It'd be the second best UConn team they've ever had to the 16 team, and it maybe is the best. I mean, they look like it. They're we mentioned this earlier, maybe it was yesterday. They're the favorite against the field to win the national championship. How often do you see that in any sport? And they're just destroying 40-point. Their average margin of victory this year has been 40 points. They're unbeaten, obviously. That's you're a 1. You already have a seeding advantage. Would you need the first 2 games to be played on your home court?
Well, they don't. But if everybody else is getting it, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Like it's not on UConn. It's not like UConn's dictating
I'm not saying
this.
it's their fault, but do they need an additional benefit? The sport, I think, is big enough now where they could go to some places and start selling out, branch out, play you all those games. The magical day of college basketball is Thursday and Friday. Spread those games all over the country.
And like
people
I said,
will go to watch games. They'll go, hell, I love this sport now.
I get it if you don't, you're not going to play in Ford Field or something for your championship game, but you're going to play in an arena. They sell out arenas.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need the biggest. Every town now has arenas.
Yes.
That are 8,000 to 10,000. There are different events that you could definitely get a place where you can fill the building and get an atmosphere, and then you get a premium on tickets.
Yep.
So anyway, all right. Some other college basketball news. KU maybe is going to be open. North Carolina might be open. Florida not messing around. They're looking to extend Todd Golden again. This will be the 3rd contract extension in as many years. Athletic Director Scott Strickland said today, "We're going to do everything in our power to make sure he always knows that he's really valuable." In other words, we're going to give him gobs of money.
Lots of cash. By the way, can you imagine an official having to work, not him, I mean, he asked to, but I was thinking of the UConn, Danny Hurley on one side and Mick Cronin on the other. That's probably official's dream, wouldn't you think? And Golden is kind of becoming
one of those guys,
quickly becoming that guy. The exchanges he had with Ben McCollum were just like, dude, come on.
Cincinnati has hired Utah State's Jared Calhoun as its next head coach. The deal is for 6 years, starting at $3.7 million per. He'll be introduced tomorrow. Reports had K-State reaching out to him, and then suddenly, right after that, Cincinnati fired their coach. Like, God, this is where we all knew this was going.
Yeah.
$3.4 million for K-State's coach, $3.7. Calhoun only gets $300,000 more.
Yep.
Which is more about, I'll come back to Alexander getting a lot of money for 7 years at Belmont with no tournament appearances.
For sure. And they're in the same conference now. They're going to meet at least once a year. That'll be, and we talk about 2 separate hires and how, there's 2 we need to track for, down the road. You're certainly going to track Casey Alexander and Jared Calhoun the next 3 or 4 years.
Jerry McNamara won a national championship with Syracuse in 2003. He'll try to do it now as their head coach. He spent 14 years as an assistant under Jim Boeheim. He spent 1 year as an assistant under Adrian Autry. Last 2 years, I think it was, at Siena, where he, was engineered a near upset, or at least engineered a heck of a performance against Duke. In the opening round, he's now back at Syracuse as their head coach. The NBA is on Milwaukee's rear end about Giannis, implying that Milwaukee is tanking and damaging the NBA's integrity by wanting to shut down the All-Star forward for the rest of the season. They have an asset. First of all, they should have traded him a year and a half ago. But if the plan is to trade him, don't get him hurt. They're looking out for their franchise. That's what they should do. It's what they should do. If you don't like that, then loosen up the rules on being able to move players around or don't allow free agency. I don't know, figure it out. But, like, why would you not do what's best for your friend? You're going to fine us $500,000? Fine. We have this asset. We need to trade him. We're not getting him hurt. I'm all for it. NFL news, Joe Flacco's agreed to a one-year deal with the Bengals. He'll make up to $9 million, $6 million guaranteed. Lavonte David, 12-time captain of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has called it a career. 14 years, turned 36 in January. He is done in the NFL. We will take a break when we come back. We talk college basketball. Gary Parrish, our college basketball insider, is next.
The program with Soren Petro.
I don't like any of that stuff. Most people like it. I don't like it.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC is a place where you can go and not get hassled. You know you're going to get a great deal on your trade. Check out the reviews. People love that they get top value on their trade right away. And right now, if you've been catching yourself thinking, you know what, my truck is getting pretty worn out. If your truck is your office, it might be time for a new truck. Maybe the miles are piling up. Maybe you need a bigger truck. Maybe you need a smaller truck. I don't know what your needs are. Maybe you got projects going on. You just need something that can handle a little bit more. If you've been thinking about a truck lately, now is the time to act. It's Truck Month at Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC. Listen, I got to drive the beautiful black Chevy Tahoe. What an unbelievable vehicle. Trust me, it has me thinking, maybe we need a new vehicle. It is unbelievable. Go test drive one right now at Roberts Robinson. You'll love it just like I did. They really appreciate your business there at Roberts Robinson. They truly care about helping you find the right vehicle. No pressure, just great people taking pride in what they do and treating you the way you want to be treated. No high-pressure sales tactics. Like I said, up front, giving you the best deal on your trade. Plus, every qualifying vehicle comes with a free lifetime powertrain warranty. That's right, lifetime powertrain warranty. Take a look at the deals and the inventory right now at robertsrobinson.com. That's robertsrobinson.com. And see for yourself why Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC, they just make it easy.
Sterling Holmes here, and this baseball season, FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week. Betting customizations that transform how you experience the game. You make the call, all your choice on FanDuel. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready to use on your next MLB bet. FanDuel is the home of home runs. You know me, I think Salvi hits a ton this year. I'm rolling with Salvi. I'm rolling with the Royals. You know this. Come on. What are you waiting for? Play your game with FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com/local to choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. So play your game.
All right, welcome back here on the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Let's talk some college basketball with Gary Parrish, our college basketball insider. He joins us here in the program. Gary, how are you?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Doing very good. Let's do some house cleaning here before we get to the tournament. Missouri's season and the 4 years that we've seen out of Dennis Gates, is that an average for what a team ought to do? Is he exceeding expectations? Is he below expectations when you coach in the SEC? I bring it up because, some Missouri fans are kind of like, rinse and repeat. We're seeing the same thing all the time. Is this all that, should you be happy with it? I mean, certainly you want to go to the Elite Eight and Final Four and maybe win a national championship, but is this like, hey, this is as good as you can expect? Don't be thinking you're going to walk on this because you're more likely to get worse than better if you're thinking that Dennis Gates isn't getting it done.
So there's a lot there. I don't think you can say he's exceeding expectations, but I also don't know that it would be fair to call it disappointing because he has been in the NCAA tournament in 3 of the past 4 years. Obviously, the one where he missed it was really bad, 0-18 in the league. But outside of that, he's taken Missouri in one of, let's call it, 2 toughest conferences in America to the NCAA tournament 75% of the years that he's been the coach. If that's not good enough, then that's a totally different conversation you need to have about investing in resources and NIL and revenue share. The problem, of course, is that I understand what the fan base is going through because I lived through this on some level with Josh Pastner at Memphis. Josh would consistently, at least early on, get to the NCAA tournament, but never really did damage in it. Like maybe win a game, but never 2. Like quite literally never 2. And that came on the heels of the John Calipari run. And so fans were like, hey, going to the NCAA tournament is nice, but we want more. And do you know what Memphis fans have learned since they pushed Josh Pastner out the door? That going to the NCAA tournament is not a birthright for a basketball program. And that if you start thinking our next coach will be better than the guy who gets our program to the NCAA tournament more often than not, you might be right if you hire Ben McCollum or the next Ben McCollum. But there's a decent chance that your next hire is not going to be as good as the one you were already frustrated with. And that has certainly been the case at Memphis. They pushed out Josh Pastner, who was going to NCAA tournaments, to get Tubby Smith. Things got worse. Then they pushed out Tubby Smith to get to Penny Hardaway. Things didn't get worse, but things aren't going well. The truth is, you look back at every coach who's run the Memphis program since John Calipari, and nobody's run it better than Josh Pastner, and the fans pretty much hated him the entire time. That could be going on a little bit at Missouri. Hate's a strong word, obviously, but that is, when you haven't been going to the NCAA tournament as a program, your fans just want you to get there. But then when you start getting there consistently, then they want more, and if you don't deliver that, well, that's when these conversations start happening.
Yeah, tell me his comments after the game. I think were poorly. He didn't think it out. He was asked about his season. He's like, "Well, I don't think any coach in the country could have gotten us to where we are today, but me. But I judge myself harshly, and we didn't win a championship, so that's a failure." But
you can't say that.
Yeah, the comment that nobody could have gotten us here. Like, who do you think you are, man? That you're gonna.
That's. Yeah, I didn't hear that comment specifically, but that's a problem to say that out loud because you're just inviting people when you say something that out loud, like that out loud, to tell you how many people they would actually would rather have coaching this program. Or, I mean, you're telling me Ben McCollum, who's got Iowa in the Sweet 16 with like one real player, couldn't have done more with the Missouri roster? Like when you start saying things like nobody could have done better than what I did, you better be holding a national championship trophy or something close to that, or else it's not going to land the way you want it to land.
Like all 16 guys who are still coaching this week?
I mean, we could put together a list if you wanted, but I'm sure even Dennis would tell you he wishes he could take that quote back.
Do we know, is there any kind of reliable data? Do we have at least a ballpark of what each team is spending on their roster?
I mean, there's data out there, and there's lists you can find, but then you send those lists to coaches, and they'll say that's not right. I don't think anybody has a proper, actual understanding of what is Duke really spending? Or what are Duke's players really making? And where is all this money coming from? And how much of it was designed to influence where they enrolled? In other words, Duke has rev share just like everybody else has rev share, and Duke's going to have NIL opportunities that they create just like a lot of big brands have NIL opportunities that they create. But there's also going to be a Nike component to all of this, or some other big component to all this that just thinks it's best to have somebody there paying a lot of money to be on the stage that a place like Duke provides. So people can tell you what Cameron Boozer is making from here, making from there, but anybody trying to tell you they know exactly every penny or even every $100,000 to the specific number that players are making on campuses all over the country, unless you are the general manager of one of those schools or the head coach, or like working really in the middle of it all, a lot of this stuff is guessing, it's hearsay, it's lies. I mean, some of it is just flat lies. And it is funny, every offseason you hear coaches bragging or whispering about how much money they have, but then those numbers get out, and then they don't do well, and then they get so mad that those numbers are out there. Like Kentucky didn't care that people were saying they have a $22 million roster when they were trying to build the team and build expectations. But the second that went sideways, Mark Pope didn't like people ringing up that $22 million number anymore. That number now gets bragged about when you're roster building, but if you don't do it well, it gets used against you. But to answer your question directly, I don't know that there's a single source of great information on what these rosters actually cost. Like if you look at Major League Baseball, we can get pretty much down to the penny of what the Dodgers are spending, what the Mets are spending, what the Yankees are spending. That kind of information, accurate information, is not available in college athletics.
We're talking to Gary Parrish here in the program. I'm sure you talked about this a little bit last week when I was gone, but I want to go at it a little bit different route. K-State hires Alexander from Belmont. One of the guys that they, reports have them having called as well was Calhoun from Utah State, who has now landed at Cincinnati. They gave $3.4 million a year to Alexander, who 7 years at Belmont did not make the NCAA tournament. In fact, he's made the NCAA tournament once in his career. And $3.7 million is what Cincinnati ended up giving Calhoun. That's more. It's not that much more. Like, did K-State really need to give $3.4 million? I mean, it's not my money, so what do I care? And more power to them. Congratulations. They got it. They spent it. But is that really what it took to get a coach to K-State who in 7 years hasn't been to the tournament?
I mean, probably not. But like you said, it's not our money. And it's not something that works against a rev share cap, salary cap, if you will. It's just either a wealthy person or a collection of wealthy people who are going to be paying that bill. But this is about what power conference coaches make these days. I can remember when it was wild if somebody made $1 million a year. Now, if you're like at the worst power conference job, you're probably making at least $2, and in the threes is a pretty normal starting point for a middle of the pack-ish Big 12 type of program. So I know that Casey doesn't have the postseason success that any Big 12 program would want in an incoming coach, but he did win his league in 2020. And then the NCAA tournament obviously was canceled. And I think if you're really trying to sell Casey Alexander to Kansas State fans, I don't want to say don't focus on the lack of NCAA tournament appearances, because that sounds like, hey, don't look at the bad stuff. I'm not trying to get you to ignore facts. I'm just saying Kansas State, when they evaluate him as a person who can run a basketball program, what they, I'm certain, see is that these are his finishes in his leagues. At Lipscomb, in his final 3 years, second, tied for first. Gets the Belmont job, first, second, third, fourth, first. He has shown over a long period of time an ability to competently run a basketball program. Now, is that going to be good enough at Kansas State? Absolutely not. You got to go to NCAA tournaments. You need to advance in NCAA tournaments, particularly if you're making this kind of money. But what you got right now is a basketball coach who is not really a big roll of the dice gamble. This guy has been coaching and running competent basketball programs for a long time. Now you got to give him the resources to do it at Kansas State and see if it pops. You can hear him on the Eye on College Basketball podcast, see him on the CBS Sports Network, read him at cbssports.com. He is Gary Parrish, our college basketball insider.
I believe, I've said this for a while, that this was Bill Self's last year. For the first time, he, just a couple of weeks ago, he's like, I don't know where all this is coming from. And then he sat down afterwards, they're out of the tournament. He's like, I got to go back and talk to family, and my health is going to be the driving factor in this. He said, I can do it, but I want to feel good doing it. And so he's made it very clear. I don't know if I'm going to be back. I don't think he's going to be back. I saw a guy, I'll say it again, his reaction to the game at the Arizona after beating Arizona was like nothing we've seen before. And to me, it was a guy that was, and maybe it was as simple as, well, I know there's not going to be that many more of these, so I'm going to soak in every one of them from here moving forward. Maybe that's it, and I'll watch him have that reaction for 2 more years. I don't think so. What do you think?
I can tell you, matter-of-factly, people are talking about it as a more realistic thing than I have ever heard people talk about it, even when Bill actually had the heart procedures. I don't think he'd ever addressed his future as candidly as he did after that loss in the round of 32. I don't doubt that he's not feeling as healthy as he needs to feel. I also think this season has taken a toll on him. It's just mentally exhausting, I would assume, having to deal with the Darren Peterson situation and all that it entailed, having to clearly cover for him in his camp at certain points in the season, having to sit there in front of microphones and answer a bunch of uncomfortable questions where you can't just speak plainly because it's a delicate situation. I just think this season, it had to have worn him out, if only because I know it wore me out just talking about it.
Yeah.
And so I never, and coaches will tell you this, they don't want to make a decision 5 minutes after the season's over or one day after the season's over because, I can tell you, by the time I get to the end of a season, I look up and I go, I've been staying up till 7 a.m. podcasting. I watch the sun rise. I'm in New York City for a month straight. Why am I doing this? Like at the end of every season, I start going, I need to reevaluate my life. And then I get 2 weeks on the golf course and I'm recharged and I'm ready to go. And so as always, we'll see. but more people right now think what you said is more likely than it's ever been before. And that is Bill Self may have actually coached his last game at Kansas.
We're talking to a man who is assessing his life right now, as it's late in the year. As it's
you can bill me for the therapy session.
It's a pensive and reflective Gary Parrish
that's
today.
what it is. Yeah,
a very special program.
Absolutely.
My larger point is that I know what it's like to be worn out and feel like I don't know if I want to do this again. But then every year I go back and convince myself that I have the best life in the world. Why would I not want to do this? And so I understand how you can go back and forth on these types of things. But, to be fair, I'm never dealing with a heart condition, or at least I haven't had to deal with one yet. So there's a lot of variables here. I hope more than anything, like whatever Bill wants, I hope that's what he gets. He's obviously earned the right to make his own decisions on how all of this goes. And he's had one of the greatest coaching careers of all time, even if he never coaches another game. But if he does have a desire to continue to coach, I hope his health allows him to do that.
Well, I think, you're just trying to drum up, clicks for your podcast, the Eye on College Basketball podcast. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Travis Kelce, who does this little dance at the end of every year and then tells us, no, I knew all along. Oh, okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, it's a little, that kind of thing does drive me crazy. Like, not with Travis specifically, but, when people...
Well, you haven't waited for 45 minutes for him to come out for his 5-minute Q&A then.
But, when you see these Darren Peterson stories that are coming out now, if you guys would have known what he was going through before this, you could have told us at any time.
Yes.
You could have said it. And so another one, you see Mark Pope get all mad over the weekend. I see all these stories and all these numbers, and, it's just wild what's out there and how much of it's not true. Bro, you're the head coach. If it's not really $22 million, say it. If you didn't really offer Yaxel Lindenborg $7 million, say it. It's wild to me when people stay quiet when they could clarify anything they wanted, and then finally when they talk, they say, I just couldn't believe all the things that were getting said. You could have cleared this up at any point that you wanted to, and you don't, and that's a pet peeve of mine. don't listen to everybody else talk and then come back and say, well, if you would have known. They could have told us the Darren Peterson story as it's being told now, back in September or October. I really don't have any interest hearing about it when they're clearly just trying to do damage control now.
If only someone had stuck a microphone in your face. You could have
it's
said
outrageous. It's like there's this like Darren Peterson. Well, here's what you guys don't understand, Tor, because they mismanaged his entire one season of college basketball to the point where he really might not go number one in the draft when less than a year ago everybody thought he was going number one in the draft. So now it's like, well, his body shut down and it was traumatic. And, okay, you had every opportunity to say that in whatever form. Now this is just damage control because they realize that grasp he had firmly on the number one pick, he does not have it anymore.
That's right. That's right. How good is the KU job now? I mean, how much has it lost luster, or is every other job out there with a bunch of money just caught up to them?
Well, I will say that the whole brand thing doesn't matter as much as it used to. Like, Syracuse reportedly just got passed over by the South Florida coach who took the Providence job. So that tells you that brands don't matter the way they once mattered, because the Syracuse brand is one of the biggest brands of our lives. You know it better than most. But they have not been resourcing that program in any sort of way that suggests they're trying to get back to national championships and Final Fours. And so that job has slipped. I don't think the Kansas job is that, though. In fact, I'm confident it's not. There's a whole lot of places now that are throwing a lot of money around, and they can maybe prevent their coach from leaving. But at the end of the day, I mean, you hear whether it's Tommy Lloyd or TJ Otzelberger, any coach, when they walk in that building, Dan Hurley, they have an incredible appreciation for the history of that place, for everything connected to it. And Kansas is one of the few, and I mean very few places, right there with North Carolina, with, I think, Kentucky in most situations, one of the places where you can actually go get somebody's great coach. We live in a world now where, you build something big at Baylor, they got all the money in the world to pay you. You may just stay at Baylor. You build something big at Alabama, they got all the money in the world to pay you. You might just stay at Alabama. But when Kansas calls, that's the one where you have to at least say, I've got to think about it, because historically, I'll just say something factually. I think this is true, dating all the way back to Larry Brown. There's never been anything other than Hall of Fame coaches in charge of that program.
Well, and if guard... Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you. I apologize.
No, I was just saying, and you've got a chance to be the next one.
Yeah.
Here, dating back to the 80s, here's what the Kansas job is. If you get it, you will end up in the Hall of Fame. That alone makes that a job. I don't care who you are, unless you're like maybe John Shire, maybe Dan Hurley. Outside of that, you got to listen if Kansas calls.
Yeah.
And the guy before Brown just went to 2 Final Fours. I mean, it's
there you go.
Even if you go back to Ted Owens, they were good.
Yeah. What is the situation? We mentioned Desiree Reed Francois is the athletic director at Arizona, and she left to take less money to go to Arizona. She left Missouri. She got out in front of some folks that were not happy, right? Like, so do we know Tommy Lloyd's happy at Arizona? I mean, is it what? Because that would seem like one where I'm looking at it, and here's a guy who's had incredible success. He certainly fits the profile. He's got the resume that would warrant hiring him, and I can see a scenario where it may not be the most ideal job situation for him.
He has said things about, being at Arizona and not necessarily loving being in the Big 12. Now, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he did have the comment from the Big 12 tournament, I think, where he said something along the lines of, like, I would love for this to be in Las Vegas. We don't, it certainly implied we don't love coming to Kansas City every year. And then said something along the lines of, I didn't ask to be in the Big 12. They put me in the Big 12. And so he did take a job that he did not, he now has a job, rather, that he did not sign up for. As for what that means, it's hard to say. But, I know Mick Cronin, for one, doesn't love being the UCLA coach in the Big Ten as much as he liked being the UCLA coach in the Pac-12. And so there's some thought that perhaps Tommy doesn't love the conference affiliation, but there's also evidence that he's knocking it out of the park there. I guess it's a long-winded way of saying I don't know, but I would check on that type of thing because if you remember, that's how Illinois ended up with Brad Underwood. They weren't looking down that path to go hire an Oklahoma State coach after 1 year or whatever it was. They were making phone calls, talking to agents, and at one point, Brett Just, who is Brad Underwood's agent, says, "Hey, would you be interested in Brad Underwood?" And the conversation is like, "But he's only been there a year." "I know, but he's not happy, and he would move after 1 year if you're ready to move him, even if most people don't assume that." Could there be a Tommy Lloyd situation like that? Or another high profile, like, is Nate Oates, like, think about this. Let's say Nate Oates, who only cares about one thing, and that's winning basketball games, is sideways with his administration now. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying, what if?
Right.
He's happy at Alabama. Everything's cool. Then Aiden Holloway gets arrested right before the NCAA tournament, and his administration says we have to detach him from the program. And he says, why? We are running a professional basketball franchise at the collegiate level. If an NBA player got arrested for weed, do you think they would suspend him from the team for the rest of the season? Of course not. So what are we doing? What if that is what causes the friction between an administration and a coach, and suddenly his eyes are wondering, looking around, saying, "But hey, if a bigger job or a comparable job wants me, I wouldn't have left a year ago. But if they're going to prevent me from having my best players going in the NCAA tournament here, I'll find an administration that'll work more hand in hand with me." That kind of stuff happens all the time in college athletics. And so if I were trying to hire a coach, absolutely, you talk to 3 or 4 different agents, you can have a good grasp for who's happy and who's not in their current situation, either because they are scared they're going to end up on the hot seat, they're not getting the extension that they desire. Could be something as simple as the wife just wants to move to a different city. There's a million things that could play into that, but any smart athletic director checks.
The assumption is it's so early that there can't be any friction with a Dusty May at Michigan?
I wouldn't think so. He passed on his alma mater, or at least, made a very intentional decision to be the head coach at Michigan, picked Michigan over Louisville. They clearly have got that thing set up now for success. The Michigan brand matters to him because it's a real national brand that resonates outside of men's basketball. So never say never, but I would be surprised if Dusty May were doing anything other than coaching Michigan for the foreseeable future.
You got any names that you would be telling Travis Goff he needs to look at?
I mean, if the Kansas job were to open, I'd start right at the top. I'd call Billy Donovan. I'd start there. There's reports literally today that he is possibly on the way out in Chicago. I know that Billy did not like the way recruiting had turned, but now getting players is not really any different than getting players at the NBA level, except you can have whatever salary cap you want, in theory, if you've got an administration willing to give it to you. So if I'm Billy Donovan and I'm about to be out of the NBA, and the college sport has changed so dramatically that I can take a job, and if an athletic director just tells me, you're going to have the best resources in the country to win more national championships like you did at Florida, if I'm Billy, I got to listen to that, whether I think I want a year off or not. So I might really start right there, but, yes, I would pick up the phone and see if Tommy Lloyd wants to coach at Kansas in the Big 12 instead of Arizona in the Big 12. P.J. Otzelberger, he's got strong connections to Iowa State. I don't think he's looking to leave there, but I would ask him.
Sure.
I mean, again, Kansas is a top-shelf job, the type of job where you can ask people if they want to leave a place they love because your job might be so good, even if they don't think they want to do it, they can't pass on it.
All right, we've got literally a minute for our Final Four, so we'll move quickly. Tell me right now, who is at their current job the longest, Bill Self, Dennis Gates, or Corey Alexander?
Ooh, that's tough. I'll say, I'll say Corey Alexander just because he's starting fresh.
Yep. Okay. Tell me, what pick does Darren Peterson go?
Or Casey Alexander, rather.
I'm sorry.
A basketball player.
No, the old Virginia guard I'm talking about.
That's right.
Yes, thank you, Casey Alexander. What pick is Darren Peterson now? What do you think?
2. I think he goes 2 because somebody is scared to pass on DeBonsa when you've got a young man who is publicly acknowledging in his one season of college basketball that he both had body and mental problems. Yeah. That's not what you want to hear.
What team is the biggest surprise for you right now?
I think Iowa, because they got one real player. And it just speaks to Ben McCollum being amazing. Like, this is one of the great basketball difference makers on a sideline at any level of the sport. He proved it for 15 years at D2. Now he's doing it in the Big Ten.
Finally, who wins it all?
I still got Houston. I had them on Selection Sunday. Now it's opened up for them. They are the favorite to get out of the South. They are playing at the Toyota Center. The 1 seed Florida has gotten out of their way. If I could write it, put me Kelvin Sampson, Houston in the national title game, Emmanuel Sharp hitting a buzzer beater 1 year after he couldn't get a shot off at the buzzer. That would be the movie. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I like it. I wouldn't mind seeing it either. We always love talking to you, Gary. We appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
You're the best, buddy. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
The program with Soren Petro.
I just answered this question.
I feel like I'm asking a different question.
Well, give me the same answer.
Okay.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. Concrete season is in full swing. The asphalt season has just kicked off. Now's the time to get your property on the schedule with Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Whether you need new concrete work, a parking lot repave, crack filling, seal coating, or a full asphalt installation, their experienced crews handle it all right here in Kansas City. Don't wait until the rush hits. It's coming up. April, they start getting super busy. So call right now. Get a free bid and secure your spot on the calendar before it fills up. Get the process started at GannAsphalt.com. That's GannAsphalt.com. And I'll tell you what, if you're looking to join a great team, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is hiring. They're looking for experienced asphalt and concrete paving foremen, operators, and laborers. If you're looking for a trusted company who offers top-of-the-market pay, company-provided insurance, PTO, and many more benefits, go to GannAsphalt.com/careers. That's GannAsphalt.com/careers. Find out more about Gann Asphalt and Concrete. You know how it works. One contractor, all things parking lot. Gann Asphalt and Concrete.
March means buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and late nights on the couch. But if your sleep is taking a loss this tournament season, it might be time for a smarter game plan. At Healthy Sleep Midwest, they specialize in personalized solutions for snoring, sleep apnea, and better overall rest without the hassle of bulky machines. Imagine waking up refreshed, focused, and ready for the next tip-off. This March, don't let poor sleep knock you out early. Visit HealthySleepMidwest.com and start winning your nights again.
And it's Testimonial Tuesday from Ready Services Plumbing and Air Conditioning.
Ready! Tom from Ready Services came to my house first thing on Saturday morning to take care of a floor drain that was
But first, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. How many different programs have appeared in at least 7 consecutive Sweet 16s? Carolina, Duke twice, Gonzaga, and soon Houston.
Ooh, the Cougs.
7 straight.
Throw the Cougs in there. All right, I like it. I'll get you some La Feta tonight, 143rd Metcalf, southeast corner. Great sandwiches. They cater as well. They catered for us last Friday night. They'll do a great job just like they did for us. Go to lafettadeli.com. Leave you with this. Mike Tomlin has hired sports media agents as he prepares a move into media. This according to Ian Rappaport, I believe. Fox, CBS, NBC, streamers, among others, could all be potential landing spots. Will Mike Tomlin be a good broadcaster?
If he's willing to be candid, I think he will. He's easily my favorite coach of all time to listen to in the press conferences.
You can get an agent.
He can expound. I mean, he's in depth. He's entertaining. He's cool looking.
Maybe he just wants to, earn a couple of bucks while he recharges the batteries for a year or two, or maybe he wants to make his permanent career. I agree. If he is candid, he's such a thoughtful guy that I think he'll be great. But if he's just killing time, looking to get back in the game as a head coach, it'll be softball city.
You'll be able to tell.
That's never good.
No.
Never good. But I would hire him. I'd give it a shot, see what happens, and we'll evaluate after a year. I think if he wants it, I think he'll be really, really good.